Be cool, be kind, be classy. A cupcake so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Or just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade. Sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Michegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm back. I'm back from my first trip across the pond ever. I've never been to London. And boy, is it a great city. I love it. I love everything about it. It reminds me of so much of New York. We landed on Wednesday. We got back today. It was the hottest it's ever been, apparently, in London, England, in recorded history of the weather ever. And your girl loves her air conditioning, and a lot of places don't believe in air conditioning over there in London. Restaurants, some of the restaurants we ate at, we were melting, but we had such a wonderful time. Just my daughter and me, my youngest. It was her graduation present. She wanted to go see Harry Styles in London because when she was 6, I took her to her first concert. And the girl's got to see her favorite band for her first concert, right? So when she was 6, she loved One Direction. But the One Direction tickets here at Giant Stadium are really, really expensive. So I figured out that it would be cheaper to use miles to fly to Buffalo, New York to see One Direction there. And I took her there when she was 6, and we had friends that lived there. So we got to stay in Buffalo for free. We did it on a shoestring budget when she was 6. She was in kindergarten, and now she's just graduated high school. And we did it again. But we saw Harry Styles in London. And oh my God. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the clips that I posted. He was looking right at me. Tell me he was not looking right at me. Fight me on it. He blew me a kiss, I swear. I swear he did. He was singing, "Just Let Me Adore You," and he blew me a kiss. Well, fight me on it. It was amazing. Buy the tickets. Just buy the tickets. Do the things. Not only did we buy the tickets and we saw Harry, that choking on stage thing was not today. That was not today, sweetie. Roses Are Red. That was like from a couple of days ago, and I don't even know if that was really real. Because somebody put a comment that had happened last night at the show. The show that I went to last night, he was wearing like a mustard yellow blazer and shorts, almost like a schoolboy outfit from Matilda. And he took his shoes off because it started pouring rain. Right as the show began, it started pouring rain. And he took his shoes off, so he was in his stocking feet. He wore socks because he like ran around this stage. He's been running like marathons or something to get ready for the show because he had runways going all the way down each side of Wembley Stadium and around. So everybody got a piece of Harry. I mean, he knows how to do it. The guy's an amazing, say what you want about him. He's an amazing performer. He knows how to bring the house down. And his drummer is a woman. He's got a mostly female band. He brought an orchestra on with him at one point. It was just unbelievable. But that choking thing that was alleged, I think, if anything, it was Friday night, but I'm not even sure if that's even really true. Also, Shania Twain opened. I'm not, just never was a Shania Twain fan, so it wasn't like my thing. But good for her. Good for her. Good for Harry getting the moms involved too, because there were a lot of mom and daughter combinations there. It was amazing. So much fun. So we got there Wednesday. Thursday, they've got an amazing West End theater district in London. And so I know the trick. I know the trick about the half price show day tickets. If you don't know, they also have it in New York. It's called TKTS. They have it in London too. So Thursday night, we went to see Moulin Rouge. It was amazing, amazing. And I'm a huge fan of the movie version of Moulin Rouge, which we looked it up. It was 2001 that movie came out with Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman. I loved it so much. And I thought it was going to be the same. The music is totally different. They've modernized everything. They've got Adele in there. They've got Lady Gaga in there. They've got some Pink in there. Like, it's amazing. If you think that you don't really want to go to Moulin Rouge, the musical, because it's going to be like the movie, it's similar to the movie, but the music has all been updated. It's fabulous. So fabulous. Hold, please. So then Friday night, I said to myself, daughter, To Kill a Mockingbird is playing also. And I really feel like we have to go see it. We have to go see it. I said, she knows about the cases that I cover. And lately she's just been saying to me, how's the case going? Because it's only been the case. It's only been the case, Karen Reed and all the iterations. But she knows about the Edric Foss case. And I use a lot of the things that I do here with you as teachable moments for my kids. And I said, I know you haven't read the book yet, and I know you want to read the book first, but I really think that since To Kill a Mockingbird is here, we really should go see it because we can get half price tickets. So we did. And I'm so glad that I did, because it has brought back so many themes of things that we are covering today in 2026 that were going on in the 1930s, which is the setting for Harper Lee's book, To Kill a Mockingbird. And watching that play again, and having read the book as a kid, I guess in high school, we all read it, right? It's shocking and maddening, and it saddens me that not a lot has changed since then. It's wild because we saw it. We saw it happen in Athens, Clark County, Georgia, with Edric Foss. We saw it happen, and the same thing happened in the book that Harper Lee wrote, and this took place in Macomb, Alabama, 1932-ish. And it's sad and it's shocking. And something else that came out in the play was I forget how it came out, but the villain in the play is a guy named Ewell, and he's the father of Mayella. And Tom Robinson is the black guy who's on trial for the alleged grape of Mayella. And it was really her father who did it. But at one point, he comes to the jail where they moved Tom Robinson so that, the KKK members can come in their hoods and try and do away with him. And at one point, Ewell says something like, I just want to tie a guy to my bumper and skin him alive. Okay, that's part of To Kill a Mockingbird. So I did watch Better Row the other day. I forget what show he was on. Maybe Justice. I forget. Was he on Bob and Allie? And he was talking about that text message of Proctor's where he talks about tying a guy to his bumper of his car and then driving through the streets of Detroit. And he was comparing it to another case. I think the man's name was James Byrd. It was a famous case. And it was so ironic, weird, crazy that I had just seen To Kill a Mockingbird and the exact same scenario was talked about in To Kill a Mockingbird. Hi, chat rats. Welcome. Yes. So that is one of the things that I did watch. I now that I'm back from London, I feel so terrible for my across the pond viewers because I was up last night looking for something to watch. And I'm like, Aiden's not coming on until 2:30 in the morning. Like, that's ridiculous. So props to all of you across the pond who it's 1 a.m. and you're up watching me. And if you're watching on replay, that's fine. I can't fault you for not wanting to stay awake until 1 a.m. to catch a primetime East Coast show. And that is why I do a lot of my shows during the day so that you guys across the pond can be watching at a normal time. James Byrd Jr., GV says, will always make me. What did you say? Will always make me cry. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of shenanigans, tomfoolery, and ballyhoo going on in the tubes of you. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know what's going on. I'm just going to talk to you about the things that I found pertinent while I was gone because everything happened. Of course, The second I get on the plane, Aiden's motion is unsealed. I'm like, really? Really? This is how it's going to go? This is how it's going to go? And then there's a Massachusetts state trooper in a Quincy bar knocking out another Massachusetts state trooper. If you haven't seen that video, it's wild. And why aren't they naming these guys? Hello? Where's Cardi? Where's Cardi? And then there's Sully. Sully's telling us everything, and I'm here for every minute of it. Hold on. Cardi's like,
hello.
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
what is up with those troopers? And they're not naming them. And the one of them guy says, I don't know. I'm going to show it to you. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. I'm going to show it to you. So we got Aiden's mode. And then Rosemary Scapiccio, one of her exhibits, Exhibit B, has been unleashed on the world, and it's all kinds of other Michael Proctor texts. And boy, did I fall into the rabbit hole on that one. I fell into the rabbit hole on that one, and I'm gonna tell you, because I was like, what is he talking? What are they talking about? I fell in the rabbit hole, and I can tell you exactly what they're talking about and what they were referencing in some of those incredibly racist, horrific messages between him and all of his buddies who are also named in the in this exhibit. And then, not to be outdone, so then there's Sully. Sully is telling us everything. He's like taking no prisoners. He's the guy who was in CF McCarthy's that night with Karen Reed and John O'Keefe, and Proctor took a statement from him in May of 2022 in which Proctor says that Sully said Karen Reed was toasted. Well, Sully has taken to the internet and he has said, I never said that she was toasted. I never said that. And in fact, when Adam Lally prepped me for trial, because I thought they were just going to call me as a witness, I never even saw my witness statement before. He said, I didn't say that. And not only did Adam Lally and Laura McLaughlin fail to turn over that exculpatory evidence, that Proctor's witness statement of James Sullivan was incorrect and or a lie and or fabricated and or tampered with, they never called him to testify at trial. What do you think about that? Oh, and Sully wants to just burn the whole place down. He's like, I'm here. I'm not shutting up. I'm sorry you had to go through this, Karen, but I'm here now. That's a problem for them. That's Brady, as if there wasn't already enough Brady material. Now you got a guy like Sully. Everybody needs a Sully in their lives who's going to come out, and he's not shutting up now. He's like, how dare you? Let me see the how dare you emoji. Where's the how dare you emoji? How dare you? Oh, yeah. So notice my Moulin Rouge background because I'm in a mood. Here, wait, let me take myself off for a second. Right? Okay. We're in the Moulin Rouge mood. Saw the musical in London. It was fabulous. Tagged the star who plays Satine in my Instagram story, and she liked it and thanked me and wrote me back. Now she's my best friend. She was amazing. She was amazing. She's not really my best friend, but the guy who played Atticus Finch, his name is Richard Coyle. I don't know him, but I think he's a pretty famous British actor. So you guys across the pond, maybe you know Richard Coyle. He was amazing. He was amazing. I mean, you know, good theater, a good show, a good movie, a good TV show, a film that can make you feel something. That's money. That's money right there. Look at Susan. Look at Susan gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, Susan. You're very sweet. And Diana, ER trauma nurse, gifted 5 memberships. My nurses, I love you guys. You're like angels. Nurses are like angels on earth. You are. Hospice nurses, all of you. Cancer nurses, oncology nurses. I feel terrible because I did not know that Lucky is doing an interview on Canton Chronicle. So if you want to go watch it and then come back when he's done, do it. I mean, I feel terrible because as Scott just found out about it and told me about it, I started watching and it was very sad. He was talking about his wife passing away from cancer. And so Lucky Lochran is being interviewed over on Canton Chronicle. If you go watch it now, I'm not going to be upset. Please, Lucky deserves all the props and all the respect in the world. I had no idea what was happening. And so I think they've been on for almost an hour and a half. So if you didn't see it, go watch it on the replay because I can't wait to hear what Lucky has to say. The little part that I heard made me need to go get a tissue. And then I was like, I got to get ready for my own show. I can't get all emotional right now. Well, come back. Okay. Okay, this is a great question. Brickout just said, hold on. Don't you think, wait, let me find it. Don't you think Sully is a day late and $1 short? Karen could potentially be in prison because of Proctor's lies. Here's the thing. He never had a copy of his statement, and he couldn't request a copy of his statement until after the trials were over. And I think what had happened was he kept requesting it through FOIA and they wouldn't give it to him. And so he literally, like, I think just got it recently. And that is when he started speaking out. So it's not that he's known about it all along. He never had a copy of his statement. So there's that. Like, he is an angel on earth. Yeah, so don't get confused because I think that's the story. Hold on, please. And I think he explains that in his feed. But first, let's just, I mean, why not? Let's just take a look at this. This is in what somebody called What's the Word posted this, and then the Boston Herald picked it up, and Howie Carr sent it out. So here's 2 Massachusetts state troopers caught on camera in a fight at Real House, REEL House in Quincy. And this was posted on the 27th, which was yesterday. So this would have happened on Friday night. All right. And Boston Herald cites this tweet in their article. It's disturbing. So if you haven't seen this, I'm going to trigger warn you. It's a fight. And you're going to see 2 guys. You're going to see how quickly it can happen that a man can be incapacitated from 1 or 2 punches. Okay, so this is very important. Take a look at this. This happened in a Quincy bar the other night, and it was posted on the internet. And then we're going to take a look at the Boston Herald article. Okay, so here it is. This is in this bar. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit more. Hang on one second. Please. Yeah. So if you don't like, fight scenes or whatever, just, you might not want to watch it. See if I can zoom in on it a little bit better. So both of these guys apparently are Massachusetts state troopers.
All right, here we have 2 specimens, 2 cops. Here we go. Hit them with a 1-2, buddy.
Look at that.
Out cold.
What?
And yells in his face. That's fucked up.
I mean, the woman doesn't even look surprised. Look at this. The woman, so there's 2 men, 1 on either side. Both of them are Massachusetts state troopers. The guy in the black shirt gets up from the bar, from his bar stool, walks around the lady and starts beating the bejesus out of the other guy as if she's used to it. Look, she just gets up and like fixes her hair. If you can come safely to your screen, please come.
All right, here we have 2 specimens, 2 cops. Here we go. Hit them with a 1-2, buddy.
Oh my.
Out cold and yells in his face. That's fucked up.
I mean, here's the thing. Imagine if with one of those punches, the guy fell down and hit his head on a ridge surface. How quickly that could escalate, right? People are like, oh, that could have never happened. There wasn't enough time. That's how long it takes. That event right there was about 3 or 4 seconds long. Let's see what the Boston Herald has to say about it. Where has Howie Carr been, by the way? He's kind of been, I don't know, maybe he's on vacation. Here you go. Massachusetts State Police Trooper relieved of duty following Quincy bar brawl. Here's our friend. Well, he's not really a friend, but he writes a lot about these types of stories. Flint McColgan coming in with the details on this one. Let's see if he has any. A brawl between 2 off-duty Massachusetts State Police troopers at a Quincy brew pub has the purported aggressor relieved of duty. The conduct depicted is serious and inconsistent with the standards required of every member of this department, whether on duty or off duty. An MSP spokesperson told the Herald that Saturday. Now, even the MSP spokespeople don't want to be named anymore. They don't want their names attached to any of this. So poor Flint McColgan, the author of this article in the Boston Herald, is reduced to saying an MSP spokesperson told the Herald on Saturday. The conduct depicted is serious and inconsistent with the standards. Yes, the spokesperson told the Herald. The video shared Saturday by the Instagram account WTW Mass features a video recording of what appears to be a surveillance video feed from the Real House in Quincy, REEL House in Quincy. I'm sure they don't want anything to do with this either. In it, the two troopers are sitting at the end of the bar. One of them, wearing a black shirt, walks over to the other man who's wearing a white shirt. The seated man in the white shirt reaches out his arm in what appears to be an attempt to keep the black shirt man away, but then the man wearing the black shirt throws a punch followed by 4 or 5 more and then grabs the man's head in his hands. The man in the white shirt appears limp as fellow bar patrons walk in to check on him, and the bartender covers her mouth in apparent shock. The MSP did not identify either trooper in its statement to the Herald. It did say that the purported aggressor of the two was relieved of duty and that the incident is under investigation. Wow. Spacey Stacy thinks he probably didn't release his name because he's probably part of the Norfolk County crew. Well, it happened in Norfolk County. This is in Quincy, which is part of Norfolk County, right? We know it is because that's where the murder of Keith Boudreau happened in another bar. It was a hockey bar. I forget what it was called. That was like 2016. Keith Boudreau was the guy who was killed. Remind me again of the defendant's name. He's in jail. He was convicted. That was a bar fight. And that Paul Fahey, I think. There was a civil suit resulting out of that, and Paul Fahey accused John Fanning and Colleen Crawford of stealing the bar surveillance and proctoring the video. So there's that. That also happened at a Quincy bar. Yep. They won't name the aggressor, right? Norfolk County people, do you want to know? Emily C., do you want to know who this is? Do you want to know if this is one of the Massachusetts State Police troopers that was sworn to serve and protect the residents of Norfolk County? Nope. They're cops too. Hey, you think that aggressor is going to get any shit? Nope. He's an MSP trooper too. Yeah, the woman had like zero reaction. Paul Fahey, thank you. I thought so. Immediately upon learning of the incident, the department relieved the trooper seen striking the other trooper from duty, pending a formal duty status hearing, according to the MSP statement. The department's Office of Professional Integrity and Accountability. Well, there's a oxymoron, isn't it? Back to one. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? The Massachusetts State Police Office of Professional Integrity and Accountability is actively investigating the facts and circumstances of the incident, and the department will take swift and appropriate action based on the findings. Yeah, sure they will. Here's the video again if you missed it. That's how fast it can happen. Look at the bartender. And the woman that they're with is like, whatevs. Just another Friday night in Quincy. Boys will be boys. Yeah, the MSP hopes this story goes away quickly, but as of this publishing, it had 5,000 likes on the gram, on Instagram. Right? Oh, here it is. CM Libby 1 says, rumor is the victim in the fight isn't cooperating, so nothing will probably happen. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do to provoke him? Yeah, I think the beating is pretty severe and shocking. Oh, I just dropped my stress ball. And the beating is pretty severe and shocking, but the woman's reaction is just as severe and shocking to me. It's like it's like whatever, no big whoop. Boys will be boys. Look at all the new members. Heather, welcome. Deborah Jean, welcome. Look at Cindy's been here for 31 months. Says, I was greatly missed. Thank you. Thanks, Linda, for becoming a member. Carol H says, welcome back. Thanks for being here for 10 months. Lori became a new member. Welcome. On top, thank you for your super sticker. Send it to Daryl says, you're back in time for the shit show. Look and go, oh, thanks so much for your compliments. I'll take them. Jen says, because of you, I bought the tickets 4 shows this summer. Good for you. Buy the tickets. Do it. Do the things. One day you might not be able to do the things, or your favorite band night might not be around, or the play won't be there anymore, or your kids won't be home anymore to go to things with you. Do it. Buy them. Susie, thanks for becoming a member. Linda says, but now we have social media, transparency, Turtleboy, and you. I pray it makes a difference because you guys are doing the Lord's work. Listen, nothing upsets me more than injustice. I'm Aquarius, for God's sakes. We're like the justice warriors of the zodiac. The peacemakers and the justice warriors. Thank you, Linda. So Raven says trial 4 is so upsetting. You have to watch it. I know everyone keeps telling me. I just don't have time. I don't have time. Massachusetts has been like this way longer than I thought. Yeah, I know. I've been telling you guys that for decades. Decades. In fact, there's a new show that I'm watching right now. It's called I Will Find You. It also takes place in Massachusetts, and it also has to do with Boston police corruption. Anybody else watching that one? The I Will Find You. I had a 7-hour flight today, so I watched a bunch of episodes, except I fell asleep for some of them, so I might have to go back and watch them again. Oh, please. I missed you too, New Hampshire woman. 32 months. You're a lifer, girl. You're a lifer. Sassy Desk Diaries is happy I'm back. Thank you for your 5. I appreciate you so much. Laura's been here for almost 2 years, and she's more badass than ever. I love you, she says. Oh, I love you more. Jen says, for the oncology nurses, thank you for your 10. Oh, I got a new prop for us. I bought a new prop for us because I saw this in one of the souvenir shops that we spent a lot of time in Leicester Square with the statue of Mary Poppins and all the shopping in Covent Garden. Once my daughter found out about Brandy Melville, etc., over there, we had to keep coming back. If you know, you know. If you have a teenage daughter, you know. Here's what I thought would be one of the most appropriate props, a classy rubber duck. We needed a classy rubber duck, and who better to represent class than Lady Di? So we have a Lady Di rubber duck now. She's beauty. She's a beauty. She comes to us from one of the finest souvenir shops in Leicester Square, and I love it. And yes, I looked up the pronunciation of it because I'm like, how do you pronounce that? Is it Leicester? And then I looked it up. It's like Leicester? Really? Leicester? Where are all those extra letters and where did they go? So Lady Di is our new prop. She's a classy rubber duck, and if you know, you know. We also had this one from last week that I bought, the little finger puppet at the farm when I was getting some vegetables and jams. They had this, and how could I say no? It makes noise. Leicester. Okay. We have not read our motivational quotes in quite some time, so I have a couple of them for you. This one is Friday, and these are all appropriate, as always. It seems like we always pull the ones that are appropriate. Friday, June 26th, Pearl Buck said, the truth is always exciting. Speak it. Hey, Sully, this one's for you. The truth is always exciting. Speak it. That's from Friday. I don't know when Sully started speaking up, but I'm here for it. All right. Yesterday's motivational quote of the day. This is from June 27th, 2026. And this is Michael Josephson said, don't let others define you. Don't let the past confine you. Take charge of your life with confidence and determination, and there are no limits on what you can do or be. Who needed to hear that today? Want to hear it again? Okay. Don't let others define you. Don't let the past confine you. Take charge of your life with confidence and determination, and there are no limits on what you can do or be. Thank you, Michael Josephson. No, my hair is the same color it's always been. It's just, you know what? The lighting is different in here. Maybe my highlights are fading. I think it's time. Daylight fading. Come and waste another year. It's another great song. Love that song. Love the Counting Crows. All right, here we go. This is a Chinese proverb. This is for today. It's Sunday. I don't know what day it is anymore. I really have no idea what day it is. Sunday. This is a Chinese proverb. This is crazy. Okay, ready? Not the cry, but the flight of a wild duck leads the flock to fly and follow. Hello, Princess Di Rubber Duck. Not the cry, but the flight of a wild duck leads the flock to fly and follow. When you're flying, that's when people follow you. Not when you're crying. Nobody likes a crybaby. Right? Thank you, Jen Ken, for your 10 and for appreciating the nurses. Luna says, I'm just leaving the Phantom of the Opera in Hollywood. Oh, I love it. I love Phantom. I love Phantom. She says, this Phantom was the best I've ever seen, and I've seen Phantom many times, including on Broadway. So good. Welcome home. If Moulin Rouge is playing anywhere in LA, go. Go, go, go. You will love it. The music is fresh. It's fantastic. Oh, and also I saw To Kill a Mockingbird, as I was just telling you. You were in the theater, so you probably didn't hear. To Kill a Mockingbird is written by Aaron Sorkin, the stage version. What? Okay. All right. I'm here for it. On top said, I've had Chaka abscond with your passport. Welcome back, Queen. Oh, thank you. Friend of Dog gifted 10 memberships. Thank you. So many new members tonight. Lauren said she watched Grant in my absence. Good. Good. I'm glad he's getting the views. Thank you for being here for 21 months. MJ said, I'm so glad you're back, but I'm happy you guys had fun. We did. It was so great. I mean, the memories, you know, you just can't, you can't make memories like that. You can. And you should, and do it, and a lot of you are not just, mothers of teenagers and older kids like I am, but you're also grandmothers. And many of you also have young children. And the best advice that I can give you as a mother of 5 is that when you have a lot of kids, it's so hard to find time, like individual time for each one of your kids, but do it. Find the things that each child likes and do that thing with them alone. Like have your alone time with each one of your kids too. I know it's hard and it seems very overwhelming. I mean, I watch Annie Elise has really young kids. Her kids are really young. I don't know how old they are, but they're definitely under 10. She's got 2 kids under 10. One of them might be under 5. And it's hard and the days are long, but the years are short. So do the things and then try and spend individual time with your kids if you can too, because that's where the magic happens. Laura says, talk about getting emotional. The new Microdose video on Sandra Birchmore on Patreon still is amazing and heavy. I paused it for Melanie. Oh, thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. I haven't seen it. Richie's a master filmmaker, and we're lucky to have him. London is fabulous. I agree. Oh, thank you for your 20, sweet pea. Carmen knows your address. Speaking of which, very exciting week here in New York. Taylor Swift is getting married on Friday. You know how I know? Well, there's been rumblings about it for quite some time, but apparently all the calla lilies in the whole tri-state area have been sold out. That was hint number 1. Hint number 2, Mariska Hargitay is on Broadway in a one-woman show. The show is dark on Friday. Of course it is. Because she's going to Taylor's wedding. I'm here for it. This is like the royal wedding of New York City. It just is. Is somebody being rude? I heard somebody say, don't be rude. Oh, please. Carmen knows your address says, welcome back. Have you seen Chris Albert's bar video? I saw what looked like a still photograph of him maybe crying and hugging a man, but I can't verify its truth or authenticity, but I know what you're talking about. I just don't know if it's a video or what he's crying about. I have no idea. Thank you. Salty Mom says, you were so missed. Oh, thanks for being here for a year. I'm glad you guys missed me, but I feel sad that you missed me. Lisa says, glad you had fun. You deserve it. Oh, thank you. But fun is not something that you deserve. I mean, that should be like a regular part of your life. You should be having fun every day. You should wake up and choose to have fun and choose to have a good day and choose to be grateful and choose to self-care shouldn't be a luxury. It should be a necessity. You need to take care of yourself first, because unless you take care of yourself first, are you going to take care of all the other people that rely on you, all your little babies? You can't. Massages should not be a luxury. They should be a necessity, in my opinion. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate it. Hillary says, just finished I Will Find You. So good. Oh, so you don't know spoilers. I don't know what episode I'm up to now. I couldn't really, I don't get jet lag because I just try and adapt to the time wherever I am. Listen, time drifts, right? Time drifts. It's like a weird concept. It's not a real thing. And so I try not to get jet lag because I just try to adapt to the time where I am. But then I was really tired on the plane, so I did sleep a little bit. Oh, please. All right. Well, all right. So we watched the bar fight of the unnamed Massachusetts state troopers, and we know that the one who was the aggressor, according to that video that we just saw, has been let go or suspended or whatever they want to call it. But they're not naming these guys because they got enough trouble going on over there. Apparently, right? Let's take a look at Sully. For those of you who don't know the lore behind this guy, James Sullivan, but I think you do because I told you the lore at the beginning. Apparently, he wants to burn the whole place down. And here's what I'm talking about. This was posted 8 hours ago. Oh, and here's a pro tip for all the morons who think Melanie must be on Twitter because she looks at it all the time and she knows everything that's going on over there. Here's the thing. You don't need an account on Twitter to look at what's going on over there to get you breaking news and to find out if DoorDash is down, because there was almost a meltdown earlier when one of my kids could not get a DoorDash order. Engaging on Twitter is a different thing altogether. Okay? It's just a pro tip for anybody who's too stupid to understand that. Okay, here's James Sullivan, and he pinned this just 8 hours ago. Here's what he said. Here's what he is saying. Says this: public service announcement to anyone who kept me close to keep an eye on me, and to those who tried to keep me out, Canton Little League, just know I saw it. He's got eyes, and I kept receipts. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What? Oh, did you have a DoorDash issue too? Oh, Scott. Okay. All right. So it's real. I thought she was exaggerating. I said, try Uber Eats. I don't know what to tell you. So that's one thing that he said. And then, because it goes on, hold on. James Sullivan says he's talking about the Quincy Trooper thing. He says John O'Keefe keeps saying his name. Remember what happened with the Canton Little League thing? He was a coach when the Canton Little League went to the World Series, and Sean Good was escorting them. We learned about this the other day, to Connecticut for the World Series, and he said something like, maybe we'll come across it. You know what I'm really good at? Covering up murders or something like that. And then it turned out that Chris Albert knew about what his witness statement said, something like all the way back in like 2022. And he's like, how do you know? And Chris Albert said, oh, it's public. It's on the internet. And it really wasn't public, but Chris Albert knew all about it. James Sullivan is here. Sully is here, and he's going to burn everything down. He says, vote Adam Deitch for DA. It's the only way forward. He's a brave man. And then he says, do it, Jazz, to somebody named Jasmine Rice. I don't know what these pictures are all about here, but I don't know. Apparently he knows a lot. He knows a lot. He says Canton High School class of 1998. He's got receipts, and he's coming with them. He's coming. Don't know who those people are. And he says, hi, Jen, let's dance. And then he's got a picture of Jen McCabe from, her name was Jennifer Weeks back then. Remember, she was voted best looking in Canton High. That looks like it's an earlier picture. I guess maybe, just maybe, they went to elementary school or something together. So it seems like Sully's been around for a long time. Oh, that was Courtney Proctor with Colin. Okay. Hold on one second. He says right here. Oh, here it is. Sully's going to burn down the house. June 27th, that was yesterday. Karen Reed loosened the machinery around me so I could speak. God kept me quiet so I could look and listen with a crucifix. I will help her dismantle the machine so it can never operate again, and we will get justice for John O'Keefe. Sully's telling us everything, and he wants to tell everyone everything. And there's a picture of Sully talking to Karen and John. C.F. McCarthy's. Just mere hours before John O'Keefe would be murdered, not by a car. Oh, yes, that part too. Was it Proctor or Proctor's sister? No, it wasn't Proctor. It was Courtney Proctor, because apparently maybe, I don't know, and I don't care, but it was on Courtney Proctor's lawn that there was a Greg Connor sign, right? And then it was taken down. Chewbacca said that Emily C. Pointed that out. I don't think Sully is law enforcement. No, he was a friend of John's, and he's like a little league coach. And here's another one. He's not stopping. He's not shutting up. I think they've been trying to shut him up for a long time. He says, let me expand on this. He says yesterday, the 26th, in Adam Lally's opening statement, he proclaims there are some other people that are located within the bar, including a Mr. James Sullivan, who you will hear from, who is present at the bar as well. Weird, since I had never spoken with Adam Lally ever. They didn't even contact me to schedule a meeting until after he made opening statements on April 29th. We met the next day, April 30th. What? Lally didn't even prep him until April 30th. He just assumed that Michael Proctor's witness statement was accurate, in which he said Karen Reed was toasted. He just assumed that that Proctor didn't make it up. And he keeps engaging. He says here, on the 26th, Adam Lally mailed me a summons on March 27th, 2024 via regular mail to appear at the courthouse on April 16th, 2024, day one of jury selection. I showed up and provided my contact info. They could have spoken to me before the trial started, yet they waited until day 2. Why? There's the subpoena. Huh. See if there's anything interesting here. Please report to Adam Lally on April 16th at 9 a.m. Coach Sully. He's the coach, right? The Little League coach. I don't know what he does for a living, but I don't think he's law enforcement. Somebody wrote to the other people who were like, this means nothing. Somebody wrote, let me mansplain it to you. He was interviewed by Lally, Tully, and McLaughlin in preparation for his testimony in the first trial. When questioned on a statement attributed to him in the report from his interview conducted by Proctor, he informed them he didn't say it. I love when they try and mansplain the forensic people. As a result, the DA did not call him to testify in either trial. More importantly, they did not inform Karen Reed's defense team of this exculpatory information as required by the Brady rule. As a result, the defense team had no way of knowing they had a potential eyewitness that could testify that Karen was not intoxicated, and to the fact that Proctor had apparently lied in his report. This information and his other allegations that the McCabe's and Alberts were apparently aware of what he actually said during his initial interview is still important. It will be very relevant in Reed's civil cases and possibly even Turtleboy's criminal and civil cases. Oh, it's coming out now. I think they've tried to scare Sully away, and now he's had enough of it. The walls are coming crumbling down, perhaps, and a lot of people are freaking out. And you can always tell when they start freaking out is when they come with their ad hominem attacks at people and, the way they look and stuff. And I don't know what I'm talking about, and all kinds of things like that. That they know stuff is happening. So here you go. Here's some more Sully narration. He says, April 30th, 2024, 3 p.m. Trial 1, day 2, at the Norfolk County DA's office. Quote, prep with Lally. Present, ADA Adam Lally, Trooper Brian Tully, ADA Laura McLaughlin, and myself. Oh, this is glorious. Oh, right. We also need to talk about Tully's motion to quash. He does not want to come for a deposition at all. All right. Fact. I verbally denied making that statement in the presence of all three. I was then reminded I was sequestered and went on my way. They never called me to testify, and they never turned that info over to the defense, and then went on to persecute her twice. I can confirm that Lally took notes. This could be some of the most explosive information that we've received in this sham prosecution. Because if this is true, this could have serious consequences ethically for two attorneys, Adam Lally and Laura McLaughlin. This is huge. Huge. And Tully was there. Tully, Lally, Laura McLaughlin, Lally smoking his cigarettes, chain smoking his cigarettes. Remember when he was on the stand in front of Krupp? I mean, if this doesn't expose Lally even more, I don't know what does. Can you imagine whose decision was it not to tell the defense about this? This is huge. Huge. I can confirm that Lally took notes. And so here's what happened. He wrote an email to Alan Jackson in October. Oops. Hold on. Well, first, here's the statement because maybe some of you didn't see it. So we'll take a look at that first. The statement was drafted May 24th, 2022 to Lieutenant Tully from Michael Proctor, former trooper Michael Proctor. This is regarding the interview of James Sullivan regarding the John O'Keefe motor vehicle homicide. The interview was on May 18th of 2022 at approximately 2:30 p.m. Trooper Christopher Moore and I met with James Sullivan, a blank, redacted. Throughout the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe, detectives retrieved security video from CF McCarthy's bar in Canton. I viewed the video and observed John and Karen Reed inside the bar for several hours. While at CF McCarthy's, I observed John and Karen have a conversation with James Sullivan. As patrons began leaving CF McCarthy's, the three stood by the bar, consumed drinks, and conversed for approximately 1 hour. You know what I think? Because you remember, I mean, we've been through all of the original witness statements of everyone else, of all the McCabe's and Alberts that interacted with them that night at the waterfall, and the Colakeithises, and they all said Karen did not seem drunk at all. I think they needed somebody to say that Karen was drunk to get this past the grand jury to bump the charges up to murder. That's what I think. It's just my working hypothesis for now. James met John O'Keefe through sports. Blank and his son play baseball and basketball together. James knew John for approximately 1 year, and the first time he met Karen was Friday, January 28th, 2022 at CF McCarthy's bar. James stated he arrived at CF McCarthy's at approximately 8:30 p.m. and left around 10:30 p.m. James was there with a couple of his friends, Tim O'Brien and Mike Welch. James stated while at CF McCarthy's, he encountered Mike Camerano and Kurt Roberts. While engaged in conversation with John and Karen, James stated the two looked happy and Karen appeared to be in a good mood. James described Karen as being toasted with a capital T and in quotes, and she was consuming mixed drinks. But James says he never said that. He never said that. James did not observe any injuries to John while at CF McCarthy's and did not observe anyone arguing with one another. James stated John was consuming beer and Karen a clear liquid mixed cocktail. James described the conversation with Karen and John as nothing out of the ordinary, and the topic was just random stuff. James stated he left before Karen and John and had no knowledge they were going to the Waterfall bar across the street. Prior to James leaving, video showed he purchased a round of shots at approximately 22:29 p.m., timestamp on video. John, James, and a male wearing a black shirt consumed theirs, and Karen poured hers into the drink she was consuming. Yeah, that's Michael Proctor's, evidentiary evidence from looking at the video himself. Well, it didn't stop there because, of course, there's more. And it appears that Sully wrote an email, but unfortunately, it was not until after trial number 2 was over. Let's see. So this was an email, and he's attaching this to his tweet from Sullivan to Alan Jackson on October 16th, 2025. Dear Mr. Jackson, I hope this email finds you well. I've never had the pleasure to speak with you personally, but I did speak with the likes of Trooper Proctor, Trooper Buchanan, ADA Lally, etc. Please let Karen know I'm so sorry for what has happened to her, and I also want justice for John. MSP, Proctor Buchanan, interviewed me at my office in May of 2022. Not sure the exact date. It wasn't very long, 30 minutes, and I knew very little about the case at that time, but I described John and Karen that night as happy and Karen as nice and witty. I told them I had just met her that night, so I didn't really know much about her. They asked if I bought drinks. They said they had receipts, blah, blah, blah. They asked if Karen looked intoxicated, and I told them she looked fine to me. I have never received a copy of my witness statement, but I didn't pursue it at that time because I assumed I would testify. After they failed to call me, I understood I couldn't request a copy during the trials, so I waited patiently. So I waited and just recently submitted the request. Wait, there's more. So he was sequestered. He wasn't allowed to talk to anybody until the whole thing was over. So I think that's the reason why he never said anything. Also, because he couldn't get his witness statement. And here's the second page of the email to Alan Jackson. I requested my witness statement from the MSP on 9/28/25. I waited 10 business days. I then appealed to the supervisor of records on October 14th. The supervisor of records that same day directed the MSP to provide a response within 10 days, but I'm sure I won't get it. I will wait the 10 days though, and if there is no response, I will follow up and then take next steps. And then this is all underlined, this next sentence. I do have reasons to believe that it may contain incorrect statements, and I can elaborate more on that if you want. I look forward to hearing from you if you think I can offer anything, and please tell Karen I am with her, and I thank God for sending you to defend her still. And if I can assist you or her in any way going forward, please let me know. Keep up the fight. XOXO, Jim Sullivan. I'm not going to put his phone number and everything on here because, there's crazy people on the internet. And then it seems that Corey Hopkins, because he attached this as well, Queen Corey wrote an email trying to get the Norfolk District Attorney's Office to turn over the notes of Adam. Oh, wait. So here's Corey Hopkins' public records request from June 24th, 2026 to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, Records Office. Pursuant to the Massachusetts Public Records Law, please produce a copy of all handwritten notes and, if they were later transcribed, typed notes generated by ADA Adam Lally on April 30th, 2024 regarding his interview/meeting with James Jim Sullivan. I've attached a document that provides additional context for this request. XOXO, Queen Corey Hopkins. Yeah, if you're under subpoena, you're not allowed to talk to anybody about the case. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. You guys will tell me what happens with Corey's public records request, but it's wild. Oh, here's what, oh, wow. It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. He writes to Greg Connor. What? On October 21st of 2025, the Commonwealth advises me that the Norfolk County DA's office has the statement in their possession and to contact them to obtain it. I emailed the order and copied Greg Connor. I never received a response. Here's Corey. Corey's here. She says, thanks, guys. He never received a response from Greg Connor. I mean, and he says on the 25th of June, if I had nothing to offer, why did so many people try to silence me? Responding to some troll who says another nobody with absolutely nothing to add to the case, inserting himself into the Karen Reed drama, with a yawny face. Yeah, and real witness intimidation from Good and Proctor. Yeah, I mean, stay tuned because, there will definitely, absolutely, 100% be more. There will be more, but you know what I have for you now? Hot off the press, right off of Pacer. We have the Haas defendant's response to Karen Reed's Response to, it's a reply. Karen Reed's motion. No, this isn't this isn't the federal case. All right, we're going to pivot now. Let me just see if there's any questions. I know there's a lot of questions, comments, and concerns. That was a silly thing to say. Hold on while I pull them up. Kay Willis is here. She gifted 5 memberships. Thanks, Kay. Kay Willis is a realtor south of Boston if you want to get in or you want to get out. And Kay Willis, she's your girl. CCC, go. Scooped ice cream in 1990 in Leicester Square until I could afford the tickets. Madonna, Phantom, Les Mis, Miss Saigon, Cats, Burn This, worth every scoop. I love that. Kenny Chesney at the Sphere last night. Oh, congratulations. Don't you love the Sphere? Wasn't it amazing? Wasn't it so amazing? I love it. I've seen I saw Dead and Company there a couple of times. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I too, my first job ever was the counter girl at Howard Johnson's. Scooping ice cream. That was my first job. I loved it. I loved it. Made a lot of money. Made a lot of money in tips doing that. It was a great job. Bella Bratt for you says, don't you have to sign your statement? I'm confused. When in the history of this case, Bella Bratt for you, have you ever seen any of the witness statements signed by any of the actual witnesses? None of them. Zero. None. None of them were ever signed by anybody. No. You know, in other places, yes, witnesses do sign their statements and initial every single page. But here in the land of upside down, inside out, Narnia, Massachusetts, there's no such thing. No such thing. Not when Proctor's involved, anyway. I can't speak for the rest of the Commonwealth, but I don't know that I've ever seen a signed witness statement in the Commonwealth. Remind me, because we've covered a lot of cases there. Good Trouble Studios. Thanks for becoming a new member. Leighton loves her Gigi. Hi, Gigi and Leighton. Hope Leighton's in. Well, it's not quite bedtime yet. Maybe, I don't know. So happy that I'm back. I have to tell you, Leighton's teacher asked her what she was chatting about, and Leighton responded, "I'm just spitballing with her." Oh my God, that's hilarious. How old is Leighton? Should she be saying that? She's watching too much of me. I love that for us. I'm just spitballing with her. See, this is why I don't curse for Leighton. For Leighton. But it's Melanie After Dark, so you never know what could happen. I cannot be responsible for the things that come out of my mouth tonight. I just can't be, because some of this stuff shocks even me. Oh, please. I do know. Thank you, Gigi. Mozzie says the usual suppression of evidence. Love you, Mel. Oh, I love you more. I love you more. Thank you for tuning in from the land down under. Oh, Sabrina, thank you so much for your Venmo. So happy you had a great time. Leaving Thursday with my boys for Myrtle Beach. So excited to be at the beach for the 4th of July celebration. Congratulations. See, isn't it so fun to do stuff with your kids? I love it. Buy the tickets. Do the things. Magnolia Gypsy says, I saw The King and I in high school with Yul Brynner at Maysville. I did too. I saw The King and I with Yul Brynner on Broadway. Yes, I did. Wow, we're dating ourselves now. I think I saw Beatlemania back then too. Some really good shows. I saw Andrea McArdle as Annie on Broadway. That's how old I am. And she was amazing. She was the original Annie. I don't know whatever happened to Andrea McArdle, but she was amazing. All right, let's do it. We're here for it. Let's pull it up. This is hot off Pacer. I have not even highlighted it yet. Okay, so Karen Reed filed a lawsuit, as you know, against everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean the Haas defendants and Michael Proctor, Yuri Buchanan, and Tully. All right. And then the Haas defendants are the usual: Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Brian Higgins. Tuxbury came in as the lawyer for all the Haas defendants, not Tully, Buchanan, and Proctor, but the rest of them. And he removed that case from Bristol County, where it was filed by Karen, to federal court. It is now being handled by Judge Denise Casper, who I think is also Matthew Farwell's judge. And she was also the federal judge that was in charge of all the TUI material. And anytime they needed to have a protective order amended, they had to go before Judge Denise Casper. So the House defendants removed the case to federal court, and they've made a motion to dismiss. We've been over it. I think it took several shows. And Karen Reed opposed the motion. And then she made a motion to amend her opposition because remember the grand jury testimony that she wanted to attach as one of the exhibits. She couldn't attach it because she had to make a special motion. And so she just said, instead of referring to that exhibit, can you refer to this exhibit? And then Tuxbury squawked and he said, no, we're opposing that. We don't want her to do that because it's not real. It's not, it doesn't say it, it's not, it doesn't say what she's saying that it says. And then we just read the other day that Judge Casper granted that opportunity for her to amend her opposition, but Judge Casper said, but I'm going to give the House defendants an opportunity to reply to the amended opposition to the motion to dismiss. I know it's confusing. Try and stay with me. It's a lot of legalese, but let's take a look at the opposition. I mean, this is now the reply. So this is now the reply of the Haas defendants and the Karen Reed versus everybody. All right, now something's going to go on with StreamYard now. I just saw myself go off, but hopefully I'm back. Here we are. So this is hot off the press. So the other stuff that I have for you, you might have already had somebody read it to you. I don't care. We're going to go over it anyway, but this is the new stuff. This is just new because as you can see, it was filed just today, which is weird on a Sunday. They got somebody working in the courthouse on a Sunday. All right. I'm here for it. And so this is the they call themselves the Commonwealth witnesses. I'll allow it. Supplemental reply in further support of the motions to dismiss. You know, anti-slap and all that. So here it is. On June 22nd, it's only 5 pages, so we can get through this fast. On June 22nd, 2026, the court allowed plaintiff Karen Reed, Ms. Reed, motion to amend her opposition. With the court's permission, defendants Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins, collectively the Commonwealth witnesses, now respectfully submit the supplemental reply in further support of their motions to dismiss the amended complaint pursuant to the Massachusetts anti-slap statute and the federal rules. Ms. Reed's amended opposition confirms what the Commonwealth witnesses have maintained throughout this motion practice. Her anti-slap arguments lack the evidentiary support necessary to obtain dismissal. As detailed in the Commonwealth witnesses' opposition to Ms. Reed's motion to amend her opposition, so many words. The amended opposition addresses an allegation that purportedly supports Ms. Reed's argument that the Commonwealth witnesses' petitioning activity was devoid of a factual or legal basis. Footnote 1, which is going to the citations have to do with the pagination system generated by the court. Okay. Specifically, Ms. Reed alleges that Nicole Albert testified to a grand jury that she went to bed as soon as the Commonwealth witnesses left 34 Fairview. But Brian Albert testified to the federal grand jury that he and Ms. Albert were awake and having intimate relations at 2:22 a.m. Oh yeah, we went over this, but this is the new response. Originally, Ms. Reed cited attachment 4 in support of this claim, which her counsel attested was portions of transcripts from the grand jury testimony of various witnesses. However, Ms. Reed never filed attachment 4 with the court, never provided it to opposing counsel, and never made it the subject of a motion to seal. Instead, Ms. Reed filed an amended opposition that replaced attachment 4 with attachment 9, which Ms. Reed's counsel attests is portions of the transcripts of the trial testimony of Brian Albert. For the following reasons, the court should disregard entirely the allegation that was the subject of Ms. Reed's motion to amend when considering the Commonwealth witnesses' motion to dismiss. Yes, it is very repetitive, Master Shenanigans. Yes, it is very repetitive. We're in federal court. And the rules are different. And the judges take everything very seriously. And they want to make the record clear. But let's hear what they have to say now. Because the judge already said that it was going to be accepted before this reply even came in. And that order gave them the opportunity to reply. So let's see if they have any different arguments now. Because she already said, basically, I'm allowing it. So let's see. First and most notably, attachment 9 does not support the allegation at issue, nor could it. The affidavit submitted by Ms. Reed's counsel, sworn under the pains and penalties of perjury, admits that attachment 9 is trial testimony, not grand jury testimony. Moreover, attachment 9 does not contain any reference to what Brian or Nicole Albert told the grand jury regarding their bedtime activities after the Commonwealth witnesses left 34 Fairview, nor does it mention anywhere that Brian Albert previously testified that he and Nicole Albert were having intimate relations at 2:22 a.m. on January 29th of 2022. Accordingly, Ms. Reed has offered no evidence to support this allegation, and the court should disregard it. Okay, but he did testify to it at the trial that he testified at, right? Second, by substituting attachment 9 for the improperly withheld, footnote 2, attachment 4, Ms. Reed exposes a pattern that pervades her entire opposition. Oh, I can't wait to hear all about the pattern. Footnote 2 reads, as detailed in the Commonwealth witnesses' opposition to Ms. Reed's motion to amend, Ms. Reed's counsel previously invoked, oh, here comes the invocation again. It's like a horror movie. Mass General Law 268-13D to support her position that defense counsel was not entitled to a copy of attachment 4 since it contains grand jury transcripts or descriptions intended to compromise investigations. Dun, dun, dun. Reliance on 13D is misplaced since if such provision requires that grand jury testimony be kept secret, it was Ms. Reed who breached that requirement by describing the testimony's substance in her original opposition. Put differently, Ms. Reed invoked a secrecy provision to shield materials whose substance she had already publicly disclosed. Accordingly, Ms. Reed fails to provide a legal basis for withholding attachment 4 from defense counsel and the court. Law Mama 4 says, I can't with this. I can't get that vision out of my head or something like that. I don't need to hear about it anymore. The opposition systematically, 1, misrepresents testimony, attributing statements to witnesses who never made them. 2, fails to, but Nicole did say she went to bed. She testified to I don't know. I don't understand why they don't just attach Nicole Albert's trial testimony to support that proposition as well, that she testified that she went to bed and he testified they were doing sexy time at 2:22. Therefore, both things can't be true, but both things really could be true. She could have gone to bed and he could have came in and then they could have done something else. I don't know. I think there are better arguments to be had for testimony that doesn't really make sense, but let's keep going. Fails to cite precise portions of testimony, neglecting to include necessary pin sites, and frustrates verification by filing supporting materials without optical character recognition. Again, you're right. This is exactly what they said in their first opposition. By way of example, or their first reply, now this is like a second reply. Ms. Reed alleges that Dr. Irene Scorti-Bello testified that Officer O'Keefe suffered dog bite wounds, but her trial testimony states absolutely nothing about a dog or dog bites. Additionally, the opposition attaches the wrong portions of the testimony of Ian Whiffen, since the correct portion of his testimony reveals that Mr. Whiffen never testified that Officer O'Keefe's cell phone was at some point inside the Alberts' home. Replacing attachment 4 with an attachment that does not support the allegation at issue is just another instance of Ms. Reed's attempting to deflect the court's attention away from what evidence was actually admitted during Ms. Reed's criminal trials. This repeated practice of characterizing evidence in a particular manner only for the evidence itself to plainly fail to support those characterizations undermines the credibility of both Ms. Reed's opposition and her amended complaint. Finally, the amended opposition fails to cure the most fatal flaw with respect to Ms. Reed's anti-SLAPP argument. Specifically, Ms. Reed still does not provide the court with any evidence that the Commonwealth witnesses' statements to police and at trial that Officer O'Keefe never entered 34 Fairview on January 29th of 2022 were devoid of a factual or legal basis. On this record, where no witness, including Ms. Reed, has ever testified that Officer O'Keefe entered 34 Fairview, Ms. Reed cannot carry her difficult burden under the second anti-SLAPP prong. Ms. Reed also provides no evidence to contradict Ms. McCabe's statements to police on her trial testimony, i.e., her petitioning activity, that Ms. Reed made several incriminating statements on January 29th of 2022. Yeah, I hit him, that Jennifer McCabe never testified about until trial. Okay. That was the first time she ever said that, right? Was that the first time that Jennifer McCabe ever testified to that she heard Karen say, I hit him? Was that the trial? And she never testified about that in front of a grand jury, right? I just want to make sure that I'm right about that. Right? That's how I recall that cross-examination with Alan Jackson going. Ms. Reed does not deny that she made the statements identified by Ms. McCabe to the police. And what do you mean? She hasn't testified yet. In short, the amended opposition changes nothing. Nothing. No, it has nothing to do with Carrie. The thing about Carrie was Google hypothermia. Correct. Jenny 3 times. Allie says, that's right. Correct. Not in front of the grand jury. It just came up that's right. Her grand jury testimony was something like 227 pages long, right? She's like, do you expect me to read this whole thing? And Alan Jackson was like, go ahead. I'll wait. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to read it. And he's like, because you won't find it in there, will you? Now I remember. That's right. For the reasons stated herein, as well as those outlined in the Commonwealth witnesses' motions to dismiss, docket number 6465 in their reply in further support of their motions to dismiss, docket number 79, the court should dismiss Ms. Reed's amended complaint in its entirety, award the Commonwealth witnesses their attorney's fees, and grant any other further relief the court deems just and proper. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This case is not getting dismissed on the papers, especially with everything else that keeps coming out every day about this. What I also heard when I was on my vacation is that Michael Proctor did show up for his deposition, but it started 2 hours late or 2.5 hours late pursuant to his request. And then he may or may not have had a panic attack and had to leave, or it ended. And Karen Reed also sat for a full day of deposition, and they're going to have to come back a second day. And Michael Proctor is also going to have to come back a second day. That happened while I was away too, right? It is very repetitive. They are being represented by Tuxbury in this case as defendants, and that is not free. That is not free. So I don't know what the final tally was. Tally ho on the fundraiser that they held on Juneteenth for their attorney's fees, but whatever that final tally is, they're going to need each and every penny. Each and every penny, because it's expensive. Yeah, so he was 2.5 hours late. And it was over at 5 or something such as like that. Yes. Magnolia Gypsy also met Jimmy Stewart in college, working in a theater fundraiser in a tent in a cow pasture in Rockwall, Texas. That's pretty. I mean, that's a great story. I don't think anybody else has that story. Thanks for your 5. Gigi says Leighton is 4 going on 18. Bedtime is 8 o'clock. Oh, good. Hopefully she went down nicely for you. Thanks for your super chat. JP says, weren't most of the PD reports and statements written months after the date they actually occurred? Yes. Tully testified to this practice in Walsh. Yes. Yes. And then he would backdate things. Remember, he would backdate things too. 6 Sandra was screaming into the wind, Melanie, come back, come back. Sandra says, it's so nice to have you back so you can talk us all off. Yeah, everyone come in off the ledge. Come in off the ledge. Come in off the ledge. It's going to be fine. I'm going to read. Oh, let's read the order, because there's been a lot of like misrepresentations out there on socials also about this order regarding Colin Albert's deposition. Let me just see if I can find it in my inbox. Hold on. You guys sent me so many emails while I was away that I did not even have a chance to look at all of them, but let's see. I have it somewhere. That was in, that's in the, okay, I know where it is. Let me just go to, that's in the wrongful death case, yeah? Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Okay, that's in Superior Court in Plymouth. Let's get the original copy from the court. Remember all of the hubbub and all the conferences that were held about Colin Albert's deposition? He's in the Army now. He's Conrad Birdie, blah, blah, blah. They were told to come back with dates when he would be available. All right, let's see. I'm here. There's fireworks going on outside. Is it a holiday that I don't know about? Maybe it's a graduation party. All right, here's the order relative to Colin Albert. Let's look at this together. Some people, I guess, didn't read past the first paragraph, and so they thought it said something that it didn't. So let's look at it together. And this order was filed one of the days I was away, June 26th. It was only Friday. Today's only Sunday. It feels like I've been gone for like a month. Sandra says, right, talk us off the ledge. My kids were in London to see Bad Bunny yesterday, and they said it was disgustingly hot. Yeah, it was bad. And a lot of like places are not air conditioned. The theater was air conditioned. Wembley Stadium was obviously outdoors, and it has a roof over half of it. So it does get really hot in there. It did start pouring rain right as the concert started and went on for a couple of songs when I was at Harry Styles. But it was really hot, and it rained at the concert. So thanks. I missed you too. Thank you. Seize the day. Says, happy. You had a great time. They're back with us to explain it all. Carrie says, Jen testified to I hit him at the federal grand jury in June 2023, which AJ pointed out was right after Haas Long became public. She was taking the heat for it. She did not stay at the state grand jury. Thank you, Carrie Cherry, for your 10. I don't remember if that's the way it goes. I hate taking people's word for it, but I'll take you $10. But I don't know. There's going to be people arguing in the chat now about whether that's right or not, but you may be right. I may be crazy, but it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Okay, here you go. Here's the Paul O'Keefe et al. This is the wrongful death case. And this is Judge Gilday. I don't know why so many people have such a hard time pronouncing this man's name. His name is Judge Gilday. And the way that I find is the best way to find out how to pronounce a judge's name is when the court clerk calls out the case in the courtroom and says, welcome, God save us from the Commonwealth. Welcome to the courtroom of good Judge Gilday. Then we know how to pronounce it. It's not hard. Some people think that Judge Gilday is getting a little sassy. Yes, that was Billy Joel. Of course. This is the order relative to motion to compel Colin Albert to attend deposition and produce documents. The motion to compel Colin Albert to attend a deposition is denied without prejudice. That means they can make the motion again. Okay? Doesn't mean he's never going to be deposed. It means I'm denying this right now, basically, because I want it off my desk. I want it off my desk, and I don't want it hanging out there. Remember how many motions Judge Cannoni said hanging out there? Remember how many motions she had hanging out there that she just never decided? And the trial was coming up, and the trial started, and there were still motions that hadn't been decided. He doesn't want it on his desk. He says, is denied without prejudice, subject to receipt of further information as to availability from his counsel. So apparently, it sounds like they're still waiting for Tuxbury to come in to say when he can come in and be deposed. Because remember, he said it's not fair. It's not fair to Colin. It is not fair to Colin that he should have to interrupt his boot camp when he is choosing to serve his country. But he did say something weird, right? He said something like the burden. He's chosen the burden of serving his country. And we're all like, why is it a burden to serve your country? It's an honor. It's very strange. Yeah, right. And he made 4 phone calls and he left 4 voicemails and nobody returned his call. That's what he said. Right, exactly. Right. He's in Army preschool. But now I guess he's in basic. I don't know. His father, Chris Albert, said at the Juneteenth celebration, fundraiser, that he's in South Carolina. So I have no idea. I have no idea where he is. It's none of our business. But if he's under the if the U.S. Army is his boss, then I guess they're going to have to tell us when he can become available. And that's the gut feeling I got from this is the judge just wants it off his desk. The motion to compel Colin Albert to produce responsive documents is allowed as follows. Okay, so remember, Colin said, I don't have anything. I used some keywords and some search terms, and the only thing that I found was this screenshot of a text message between, he didn't say screenshot though. He said the text message between me and Allie McCabe. And I said, oh, he's got the original text message. It's not just a screenshot. Let's see that. But again, how would that come up under any of the search terms that he used? It wouldn't. The answer is it wouldn't. It wouldn't. John O'Keefe, Karen Reed, Michael Proctor, all the search terms that he used. And here's what the judge says Colin has to produce. Mr. Albert shall produce. Okay, shall, that means has to. Doesn't mean should, may, can. No, he shall produce responsive documents or communications or communications. There's a slash, means and or communications for the period of January 28th, 2022 through June 18th of 2025. Okay, so that's a period of 3.5 years. And that I think that's what Tuxbury said that they were willing to do. Or represent through counsel that none exist to or from Karen Reed, John O'Keefe, Michael Proctor, Courtney Elberg, that's Courtney Proctor's, I guess, married name, Carrie Roberts, Chris Albert, Julie Albert, Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Matthew McCabe, Jennifer McCabe, Allie McCabe, Brian Albert Jr., or Yuri Buchanan, which relate to 1, the circumstances of the death of John O'Keefe, 2, any law enforcement investigation of Mr. O'Keefe's death, and 3, the plan alleged by Ms. Reed of Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins to exonerate themselves and implicate Ms. Reed in the death of Mr. O'Keefe. XOXO. Judge Mark Gilday, 6/26/26. It's palindrome. And that dropped on Friday. So he's going to be deposed when they receive further information as to the availability from his counsel. They can make the motion again to compel him to show up unless they can agree on a date. The judge wants them to agree. He's like, first he's like, stop involving me, meet and confer. Why can't you just agree? And then he's like, when they don't involve him, he's like, well, why didn't you make a motion if this happened? So, it's hard. Lawyering is hard. So he's going to have to be deposed when his attorney gets back to them. If JAG whoever ever returns his phone calls and lets him know when Colin Albert's going to be available. Imagine if he gets deployed like right away. The whole thing is just, I don't know. Maybe it was his dream to be in the Army. Maybe it's been his dream since he's been a child. I don't really know. I don't know Colin, but seems like a nice fella. He's choosing to serve our country, which is a very noble thing to do. But he's going to have to produce all these documents. Here's my concern about this, though. What if he was texting with his buddies about it? That wouldn't be included here because it's only to or from this list of people. It's not any and all text messages regarding the death of John O'Keefe, regarding what happened at 34 Fairview that night. It's only these specific people. Remember all the text messages or some of the text messages between Nicole and Jen? Don't want to text about it. We'll learn more tomorrow. Seems like a nice fella, right? And so that is what's going to happen. He's going to be deposed, and he's going to have to turn all this stuff over, or his attorney's going to have to say none of that stuff exists. The only thing we have is what Karen Reed already has, which is the screenshot of the text messages between, or the alleged text messages between Colin and Allie McCabe allegedly on the night of January, the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022. And you can bet your bottom dollar that, I don't know, they've got Proctor's phone extraction. Who knows what's in there? So if he says, I don't have this, and they have something that he doesn't have, that's not a good look. If it's really there. Right? Charlene says, right. And so many other search terms could be used. This is a little bit of insanity. Well, the court is not limiting it to any search terms, though. It doesn't say you can only use these search terms. It's very specifically says anything having to do with the circumstances of the death of John O'Keefe or any law enforcement investigation of Mr. O'Keefe's death or the plan alleged by Ms. Reed. Right? I have no idea where he is. I have no idea if he failed a course. I don't know. I don't know if any of that is, but I don't try not to deal in gossip, rumor, innuendo, speculation. I like court papers. I like documents. I like things in a form that is just more than somebody said something about something that said somebody's brother said something, so I don't know. I don't know. Nobody's going to be able to get the Army records. Okay. So nobody's going to be able to prove, I don't think, whether he failed whatever entrance exam he had to take to get in and then had to go to preschool. I don't know. So I just don't know. Lori said, I hope you had fun. Nice to have you back. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks, Lori. Darlene McKenny gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Darlene. That was very so sweet of you and generous of you. And thank you for your 10. So happy you're back. I love you with all my heart. I love you too. JP said surviving. I think you meant to say serving. Serving in the military is not a burden. It's a privilege. If we had a draft, then it could be a burden. I say that as a retired veteran. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, JP. I appreciate you, as does each and every one of my friends in the chat. I'm sure. All right. Let's get to Proctor a little bit. Okay. We have so much stuff here. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover it all tonight, but Rosemary's Capiccio unleashed to the world, of course, when I was on vacation too, published the entire Exhibit B of one of her motions in the Miles King case, which contains screenshots of most, if not all of, well, it's definitely not all, a selection, the greatest hits, if you will, of Michael Proctor's phone extraction, showing his racial bias and his bigotry and his virulent racism against Black people. And he's an equal, as Mark Betterow said, he's an equal opportunity bigot. He just hates everyone who's not a white male, I guess. So let's check this out, okay? Because, I fell into the rabbit hole and I had to find out what they were talking about, as I do. Should be a coach. Thank you for coming in, for representing the Grateful Dead with your Steely. We have Steely emojis, actually. We have a dancing bear and a Steely. And we have a Dave Matthews Fire dancer, too, because after the Grateful Dead were not around so much anymore, I had to do something. So I started following Dave Matthews, or just actually seeing him when he would come around. So thank you for being a fellow Deadhead. The world needs us. We need more peace, love, and happiness. All right. So I have Aiden's papers too, and I want to talk about them as well. But before we do that, I want to look at Rosemary Scapiccio's Exhibit B, and she's unleashed it to the world. She's taken no prisoners, and she's queen. And I don't know if anybody has done this yet. So this was my own work that I did. My own research. And you know how much I hate research unless I fall into a rabbit hole. I present to you attachment B. I think I've redacted pretty much all of the N-words and other bad things. But I wanted to give some context around some of the stuff that they're saying. All right. Like some of the stuff is about like the bands that they like. So I mean, he's just disgusting. He's a disgusting human. If you have children in the room, just put earmuffs on them. It's not that the language is foul. It's just he's disgusting. He's disgusting. He says, Jesus, 99 messages and a biatch ain't one. Some thoughts on what I read over PB's comments. Taking a dump, so this will be long. Okay. One, Nirvana is legit. Hated them when I was a pimply-faced cub, but their unplugged CD is effing incredible. Grown to appreciate their music. In Bloom is a personal favorite. Everyone smash the like button while you're thinking of it. This is Proctor speaking. 2, this double standard / reverse racism that N-words get away with absolutely infuriates me. God forbid someone stands up for the victims in those stories and rallies for justice against the black perps. Then you would see Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton surface talking about how those Negroes are a product of their environment and have been shunned by society and wasn't their fault. F you. 3, the Canton 10X club closed. Wow, get those former members to home base. I don't know what that means. Well, I didn't fall into that rabbit hole. Was that like a strip club or something? The Canton 10X Club? I don't know. 4, that no good Canton High School plays Stoughton twice. Leave it as just the Turkey Day game. Has more meaning that way. Whitey had an epic performance one year at that game, got carried out of the Legion Thanksgiving morning, blacked out drunk. Well done. That was August 21st, 2013. And then he says, oh, and a sausage, egg, and cheese on a croissant is the best sangi, the best sangi at Dunks. Horrible for you, but incredible. Load that thing up with ketchup and you're ready to rock. Oh, he needs a little hangover cure. You guys don't know a bacon, egg, and cheese unless you've gotten one from a New York deli. You just like bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel or like on a Kaiser roll. Like Dunkin' sandwiches are made in the microwave. Really? They're microwave. That's not a bacon, egg, and cheese. And then he says, this is again August of 2013. Globe's preseason has St. John's Prep as number 1 squad in that state. I guess he's really into like the local sport. 10X Club is a wellness spa? I don't know, but it's shut down. Thank you, Mark. Even their sandwich is disgusting. It's microwaved. Bacon, egg, and cheese in New York is like made on a grill. Like you have to wait for it. Okay. And you got to get the bacon crispy. And it is a great hangover cure. I like it on a scooped out bagel toasted, but that's just me. A croissant. Croissant is like too flaky for an egg sandwich. Fight me on it. Eat it on a Kaiser roll or a scooped out bagel. And then St. John's, blah, blah, blah. A bagel that's twisted and cooked with cheddar cheese, says Leahy. All right, here you go. This is where my rabbit hole fell in. He says, I'm a hot 80% of the time, regardless of weather. And then he says, I usually do iced when I'm hung balls, hot venti bowls from Starbucks, and a fat ass Kodiak after. I don't what is Kodiak? Here we go. So this is then we get to this is September 4th of 2013. Menino is right. Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Flint, Michigan. They are breeding grounds for N-words to run wild. I'm like, oh, okay. What was going on September 4th of 2013? Here's your answer. Menino refers to Tom Menino, who was the long-serving mayor of Boston, Massachusetts. He was in office from 1993 to 2014. On and around September 4th of 2013, Menino sparked a major political controversy involving the city of Detroit due to comments that he made in a New York Times Magazine interview. When asked in the interview where he would want to live if he could live in any other U.S. city, Menino chose Detroit, but added a highly controversial remark about how he would manage it. Quote, "I'd blow up the place and start all over." End quote. That's what he was talking about when he said Menino is right. All right. Then we get to some other messages. This is 11/24/2014. I don't know whose that even is because it doesn't say who. It just says yes. And then Larry Kennedy says, I think so too. Protesters are saying heavy police presence is arrogant and disrespectful. Larry Kennedy said that. Here's what happened. Oh, well, this is back. Wait, this is my continuation of Menino. All right, so this goes back to the September stuff. Here's the fallout and backlash from what Menino said. Detroit's then mayor Dave Bing blasted the comments of Menino, who is Boston's. What was he, the Boston mayor? This takes us back all the way to 2013. As highly insensitive and extremely regrettable. He pointedly noted that as of the mayor of Boston, which had just suffered the tragic Boston Marathon bombing just a few months prior to April of 2013, a few months prior in April of 2013, Menino should have been far more sensitive than to use the phrase blow up. And then that day of these text messages, September 4th, 2013, Mayor Menino publicly apologized, admitting he had made a mistake and used a poor choice of words. Well, it's that kind of runs in the family over there in Boston, eh? While he stood by the bleak statistics he cited, noting they came from a financial report, as Detroit had recently filed for bankruptcy in 2013, July, he expressed regret for the offense his comments caused the people of Detroit. Here's what happened 11/24/2014 when they were talking about protesters saying police presence is arrogant and disrespectful. And then he made this, remember this text message? 9 whitey people and 3 Negroes on the jury. Anybody know what that's about? I do. 11/24/2014 was the day the grand jury in St. Louis County, Missouri announced the decision not to indict police officer Darren Wilson for the fatal shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson. It sparked nationwide protests. And on the grand jury, I looked it up, 9 whites, 3 blacks. And then this is when he says, I was planning on tying up an N-word and dragging him from my bumper throughout the streets of Randolph. I told you, I heard that in To Kill a Mockingbird the other night. Mark Betterow said on Defense Diaries that is in reference to a guy named Bird, James Bird Jr., I think. The way that these guys just talk to each other with reckless abandon, like this was like not a big deal at all. It is, and it's been going on for more than a decade, just shows how ingrained their racism is. I don't know if any of these other guys are in law enforcement. It's horrific. We've heard a lot of these before. Apparently not all Black Lives Matter. That was good. And again, well, this is in July 2016. We ride solo and we'll always ride solo. Stupid, probably, but can't staff 2 troopers. This had to do with, there was a shooting. Oh, wait, maybe we get to that one. The shooting of the park rangers. And again, this reminded me of To Kill a Mockingbird too. Ha ha, Cookie. Let's get some horses in white sheets and burn a cross in the Arboretum. It didn't just start in 2013. No way. Is this his preschool chat? I think these are guys he grew up with. All right. Here, this was interesting too. So here's another one. Hope she gets graped in the butt by a gang of 300-pound N-words. This is from 11/1/2016, and it took me a minute to find this. Who do you think the she is? Anybody know who the she is in these text messages? Hoped she gets graped in the butt by a gang of 300-pound N-words. Anyone know what happened in or around that date? 11/1/2016. Maybe only the locals would know this. This is a deep cut. On November 1st, 2016, a Weymouth woman pleaded guilty in United States District Court in Boston in connection with a fraud scheme in which she stole approximately over $700,000 from her employer. Caitlin Garland, 39, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud. Do you think that that's what they're talking about? Because that's the only thing that I could find. Anybody remember when this happened? I've searched for this woman, Caitlin Garland. There are no pictures of her. She has been scrubbed from the internet. There's not even there's a press release from the feds about this happening. And I don't think this, because this was from 2016. I don't think it was about Rafferty. That's what I found. Maybe it's not. But again, I fall in the rabbit hole. I fall pretty far. Disgusting. They're just disgusting. Yeah, just some more of their bad taste on full display. Somebody named Fargo says, Leafy, should we hang out and listen to Rocket Queen tomorrow afternoon? And then Proctor responds, evening, D holes. Feel like I need to weigh in on the movie debate here. I agree 100% with Good on the Chestnut Hill Super Lux level. I will never see a movie anywhere else. Again, a lot of N-words. Just we should use those N-words as dartboards. That comes from Proctor. Oh, some guy from Leahy says, well, Larry Kennedy responds to the dartboard comment with, I would love that, perfect world. And then Leahy says, God can hear you too. I don't know. Do you think he has a conscience? And then this is when he said it should be Punch and N-word day in Canton today out of Retribution, 11/17/2013. Any shine you see blasted in the face. Can we confirm that this actually happened? Negative, domestic between 2 blacks. I couldn't find anything relating to that. November 17th, 2013. And Limonene says, no buzz killed greater than figuring out the troopers love to see movies at the same theater as you. Oh my God. Hope you don't run into him there. Oh, Marilee can breathe again. Thank you, Mo Esquire, for your 10. It was a very fun vacation, but I mean, it was a lot of anxiety seeing all these things pop up, and just like I just didn't have an internet connection. There was no way I could have covered it while I was away, and also I'm with my kid. I'm not gonna. My kid is more important than my internet friends. It's got to be that way. Thank you for your 10. And Zoe says, happy to hear you had a wonderful trip. We're able to make the memories while enduring a heat wave. You're inspirational for all the right reasons. Thanks for staying true to your ethics and integrity. Thank you, Zoe, for your 20. And then there's lots of other N words thrown in just for good measure. Probably smells like a hockey glove. On and on and on. Was there any other? We've heard about most of these before, and some of them are going to be quoted in Mark Bettero's motion for Aidan Carney, which we can look at next if you would like to do that. You can find these published by Rosemary Scabiccio on the cesspool of Twitter. If you want to go over there, she's attached the entire thing. She's telling us everything. Thank you, Zoe. Let me just go to my phone for a minute. Thank you, Betsy, for your Venmo. I've missed you too. XOXO. Mr. Goodman is here. Oh, he says his beautiful wife missed me. Thank you, Brian Goodman. Goodmans are here. And Elaine, thank you for your very generous thank you for your 100. Oh my God, we missed you. We need to know what the hell's going on. Welcome back. Oh, thank you, Elaine. It's going to take a while to go through everything, but I think what we need to do now is we're kind of need to go in order. So let's look at Mark Bettero's latest filing, which is Always a pleasure to read because Mark Betterow is one of the finest legal writers of our time, in my opinion. I also like him a lot as a friend. So let's take a look at the defendant's second motion to compel the disclosure of Michael Proctor's communications with incorporated memorandum. The other day, the only thing we could get was the first, just the motion, and it was only 3 pages. And I knew there was another attachment, but it just did not get filed in time for me to cover it before I went across the pond. And so we're going to cover it now. And again, I would ask if you are on replay, please hit the like button. If you're watching live with me today, please hit the like button as well because it helps the algorithm. Here it is. This was just became public last week, I think Wednesday. And so this is in the Commonwealth against Aiden Carney. Defendants, so Aiden's still trying to get Michael Proctor's full phone extraction. Many other defendants have them. Aiden does not. But as Mark Betterow is going to point out, not only was Proctor racist, misogynistic, anti-Semitic, homophobic, hates just about everyone who's not a white man, but he also hates Turtleboy. So there are communications that are sealed that have been released to Aiden and his attorneys that show how much he hated Aiden, that they're not allowed to release because they're under a protective order, but that some people have been able to obtain some of these documents through FOIA requests. And Mark Betterow points out that that is obviously not the way it should be, that there should be people just getting public records requests with documents that the defendant is trying to get and can't. Wild, right? Yeah, Laura says Proctor targets people. Remember the rubber ducky gate. Here's our new queen rubber duck. It's Princess Diana. And then we've got this one too. Remember, Rich Schiffer was targeted too for littering and witness intimidation of Colin because there was little time. First of all, this rubber duck is like 10 times the size. The rubber ducks that were put around town were like this big. They were the minis. They dug through Rich Schiffer's garbage. Let that sink in. They downloaded his Toyota TechStream data from his truck to try and prove that he was in the area of where these monopoly money, $100 bills stamped with justice for John O'Keefe and Colin did it on him were littered around town. He absolutely, they target people that they don't like if they're not part of the club, if you're not part of the group. The outsiders get targeted. Seems that way. Right. And Corey Hopkins didn't even get the documents easily through just a public records request. She had to file a lawsuit against the MSP. And the Norfolk DA's office, she had to file a lawsuit and go through litigation to get most of the stuff that she got. Yeah, letter of Betterow says only those who were known to be free Karen Reed were targeted. Right. Oh, he hated David United too. Yep. True Lessie went to Rich Schiffer's hearing. Well done. All right, let's get into it. Betterow's latest. And this is his second try. This is in the voice of Mark Betterow. God, remember when Cosgrove wrote that motion in the voice of Ken Mello? That was hilarious. Oh my God, I can't even believe that was real. This is Carney's second motion seeking an order from the court directing the Commonwealth to disclose to the defense all electronic communications sent and received by former Massachusetts State Police Trooper Michael Proctor that are within the Commonwealth's possession, custody, or control. On October 16th of 2025, at a hearing in the Brian Walsh case, the Commonwealth acknowledged that it was in actual possession of hundreds of thousands of items extracted from Proctor's cellular phone, including text messages, emails, audio files, and photographs. The Commonwealth confirmed that many of these materials were discoverable and or favorable to defendants in cases in which Proctor was a potential witness. Wow, that is wild, because we covered Brian Walsh too, and I forgot that this came from originally the Walsh case, and then Rosemary Scapiccio. That was Larry Tipton who tried the Brian Walsh case. And they didn't use any of Proctor's communications in Brian Walsh. Brian Walsh was a white man. I'm still wondering if there were any nudes of Anna Walsh or Brian found in Proctor's phone, but I guess that'll come for another time. And Brian Walsh was convicted, as you know, pretty handily. On October 21st, 2025, I emailed Robert Cosgrove and Norfolk County DA First Assistant Lisa Beatty a specific demand under Brady v. Maryland and Giglio versus the United States for the disclosure of any of Proctor's communications or other evidence on his devices, which tended to impair his credibility and or otherwise tended to favor Carney. So that was 5 days after this became public in the Walsh case. Betterow sent Cosgrove an email. On October 21, 2025, Mr. Cosgrove declined to provide any Proctor-related evidence because, according to Mr. Cosgrove, A, Proctor didn't play any investigative role in Carney's cases, and B, he didn't intend to call Proctor as a prosecution witness against Carney. On October 24th, 2025, the defense filed its first motion seeking an order compelling disclosure of the Proctor evidence. Betterow wasn't wasting any time. It's been 9 months, almost 9 months. On October, in response to Mr. Cosgrove's claim that Proctor didn't play any role in the MSP investigation of Carney, our prior motion cited examples of Proctor's involvement, including his interactions with other MSP investigators about Carney's alleged witness intimidation. For example, Proctor testified in the grand jury that the MSP installed cameras to watch portions of the rolling rally for which Carney was later indicted for picketing. Proctor claimed that he watched protesters near his and his wife's home. Wow. They installed cameras to watch the rolling rally. They didn't stop it. They installed cameras so they could watch it. Proctor further testified that he was the lead investigator on the Karen Reed case. Footnote 1, which reads, at Reed's 2025 trial, at which Proctor did not testify, his supervisor, Sergeant Uri Buchanan, defiantly and falsely testified that Proctor was not the lead investigator in the Reed investigation. If only perjury was something that was prosecuted in Norfolk County or the feds, if the feds ever prosecuted perjury. I mean, that would be so crazy, wouldn't it? He claimed that he first encountered Carney after Carney called him, identified himself as a journalist, questioned him about A, his personal relationship with the Alberts, B, why he lied about the time when Reed's car was towed, C, why he misspelled the names of witnesses in his reports, and D, when he first went to the Albert home after John O'Keefe was killed. Sounds like Aiden. At Carney's trial, video evidence will establish that Proctor perjured himself before the grand jury by falsely claiming that he observed on video a protester park on his lawn and another spit at his house during the rolling rally. The video that Proctor viewed showed no such things. Oh, really? Tell us more. Proctor lied? Proctor explained to the grand jury that the MSP did not attempt to intervene or stop the rolling rally, but that the local towns were on standby to intervene in case of property being damaged. He conceded that no property damage occurred during the rally. Proctor testified about his involvement in the portion of the investigation that focused on a police dispatcher who was indicted alongside Carney for improperly accessing information and providing it to Carney. Yeah. Yep. Was that Janelle Webb? Aiden asked her to run a plate because he wanted to prove that it was Jen McCabe at Proctor's house. Yep. Although the dispatcher was indicted for providing information to Carney, which led Carney to report that Jennifer McCabe visited Proctor at his house on or about September 25th of 2023, the dispatcher was never arraigned on the indictment. As detailed herein, this fact alone shows the bad faith and lacking of integrity of the investigation against Carney. Proctor revealed for the grand jury his motive for being biased against Carney, testifying that he was repeatedly and unjustifiably trashed by Carney as corrupt and conflicted. Well, I mean, if the shoe fits, right? If the shoe fits. The ever defensive Proctor ironically claimed that he never had a complaint filed against him and that he was never the subject of an IA investigation. Proctor explained that, quote, "I just did my job." Funny the way it is, if you think about it. Proctor's wife is a named victim in one indictment against Carney for witness intimidation and will be a prosecution witness against Carney. The defense will offer context as to why Carney ever discussed or interacted with Proctor's wife. Obviously, that context will include evidence that Carney believed Proctor was corrupt, biased, and conflicted. Once again, if the shoe fits, everything Turtleboy has said. I mean, Turtleboy is right, some people might say. Some people might put it on a t-shirt. It's the Afro Man effect. On October 27th, 2025, the defense submitted a supplemental affidavit containing additional facts in support of the first motion. This submission included additional evidence establishing that Proctor was involved in the investigation of Carney, including recently discovered emails sent by Sergeant Buchanan to Proctor on July 28th and 29th, 2023, which contained attachments titled McCabe Harassment and Albert Harassment. Wow. Of course, that's what it was entitled, McCabe Harassment and Albert Harassment. Because some people might think that the McCabe family and the Albert family, especially the Albert family, was a very powerful family in the town. Come on. We've seen movies about it. I'm watching that show right now on Netflix. It's called I Will Find Him or something like that. What's it called again? Tortoise Interference says some people might be wearing it on a t-shirt as we speak. Amy says, I've been thinking that Proctor's wife will be the one who sings. I don't know. People said he's living with his sister, and his sister had a Greg Conner for DA sign on her lawn. Corey Hopkins says, MSP wouldn't give me the attachments to the emails, though. Open investigation. Oh, so the email attachments titled McCabe Harassment and Albert Harassment were unable to be obtained by Queen Corey Hopkins, despite her lawsuits. Hold, please. Are you shocked? Because I'm not. It's like they're above the law. It's like the laws don't apply to them. They can prosecute whoever they want under random statutes that nobody prosecutes anybody under ever. Things that have never been prosecuted in the history of, the Commonwealth. And if they don't like you, they're just going to come for you. For those of you who didn't know anything about the Richard Schiffer rubber ducky case, how blown away were you by when we read the police report? We didn't even read the whole thing. It's 38 pages long. They did more of an investigation into the rubber ducks and monopoly money being littered in front of D&E Pizza and around the area than they did into the murder of a Boston police officer named John O'Keefe. Okay? That's 100% accurate. Dutton Ranch is another good one. Thanks for reminding me. I got to get back to that one. I've watched the first couple episodes. I got to get back to it. Thanks, Magnolia Gypsy. In his July 28th and 29th, 2023 emails to Proctor, Sergeant Buchanan specifically sought Proctor's investigative input about the McCabe and Albert harassment reports and asked Proctor if anything needed to be fixed in the reports. Oh, really? 17 minutes after he sent Proctor the McCabe report, Sergeant Buchanan sent Proctor an updated and more accurate version of the report. Okay. 10 minutes after he sent Proctor the Albert report, Sergeant Buchanan sent Proctor an updated report, Without more, this demonstrates that Proctor participated in the Carney investigation. Of course he did. To date, the Commonwealth has not responded to the October 2020. Stop. I just shook my whole desk. To date, the Commonwealth has not responded to the October 24th, 2025 defense motion. Really? They never opposed the motion? The rules don't apply to Cosgrove? Is he taking time off? Did he not need to make his monthly nut? The guy was raking in the bucks. Billing monthly. He's never responded to this motion since October. It's been 9 months. Okay. In a real courtroom, in a real state, the motion would be granted on default. The motion would be granted on default if the prosecutor just decided to not respond to it. Okay, you don't care. I guess that means you're not opposing it. Motion granted, case dismissed. It's not the way it's going to work out for Aiden Carney, though. It's insane. Maybe he's on sabbatical writing his memoirs. Got a special dispensation. Yes. Bob says, anyone remember how a couple of years ago, even suggesting the corruption was this deep and pervasive got you shouted down? I remember. Oh, I remember too. They're still doing it. And the thing is that, when they start ramping up and coming for you and your looks and your whatever, coming for you personally, that something's about to happen. It's a good indication that something's about to happen. Al Dente says, soliciting donations for the House defendants is wild that Buchanan was doing that. No way. Fawn Johns says, oh, God, OMG, you all. My husband and son are watching a show called Banshee. Guess the name of the most vile, corrupt guy in the show. Yep. Proctor. I don't know whatever happened with Mello and his assault of a nurse in the emergency room in Fall River. I don't know. It flew under the radar. The day of the arraignment never happened. I don't know what happened. Anybody know? They just never responded to the motion from last October. No big what. On June 4th, 2026, Reed filed a lawsuit against the MSP in town of Canton. Exhibit A. Oh, good. Good. I love how they use each other's writings as exhibits. It's always fun to do that because it's not just Aiden Carney. It's everyone who's being persecuted if they're not part of the club. Or you're a guy like Miles King. This lawsuit referenced dozens of communications sent and received by Proctor, which demonstrate his dreadful credibility, his shocking bias against entire classes of people and specific individuals, and his willingness to let his actual bias influence his professional duties. On June 11th, 2026, a May 8th, 2026 motion filed by the defense in the Miles King case was unsealed. Exhibit B. Exhibit B, that's his Exhibit B. The Exhibit B we just looked at were the text messages of Rosemary. This motion also contained dozens of messages establishing Proctor's poor character, lack of credibility, lack of professionalism, and his unfitness for duty as a police officer. Proctor's communications eviscerate his credibility. Oh, I always love a good heading. A good header. That's a good header, isn't it? It's in bold font and it's italicized. And it just says Proctor's communications eviscerate his credibility. Proctor is a disgraced former MSP trooper who was terminated for pervasive misconduct, which included, footnote 2 says, Proctor's lack of the character required for an unbiased police officer was detected by the Boston PD, which rejected his application for employment after conducting a background check on him. Predictably, the racist Proctor blamed his rejection on I can't even read that. On an absolute C-rag N-word who had it in for him. I just started twitching. The unanswered question is whether the MSP and the Norfolk County DA's office were aware of Proctor's shocking bigotry and emotional instability when he was hired by the MSP and entrusted by the DA to conduct serious criminal investigations? Yeah, that's a great question, because if it's true and they knew of his shocking bigotry and emotional instability when he was hired by the MSP, that negligent retention and hiring claim for Karen Reed's violation of Karen Reed's civil rights in her civil case is going to be very strong. And here's the pervasive misconduct, including sending derogatory, defamatory, disparaging, and or otherwise inappropriate text messages about a suspect in an investigation, providing sensitive and or confidential investigative steps in the investigation to non-law enforcement personnel. Through his unprofessional and inappropriate conduct, created an image that he was biased with a criminal suspect, and for bringing the MSP and himself into disrepute. Hold for 1 second. When I went to that little farm where I got this cute little rubber duck. It's not rubber, but it's cute. It's plush. They also had some homemade honey, so I'm going to try that. Pomegranate flavored honey. All right. Hold please while I take a swig of this stuff. Hold on. Even if I do get sick from standing outside in the pouring rain in London, Wembley Stadium, watching Harry Styles with my daughter, it was worth it. It was worth it. Proctor is an equal opportunity bigot. The messages released by Reed and King expose him as a virulent racist, a white supremacist, a misogynist, a sexual predator, and an anti-Semite. I mean, that is like, I can't even say trifecta because it's 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you call that? What do you call 5 things? In short, these messages demonstrate that Proctor was never qualified to serve as a police officer. Proctor's communications, footnote 3, reveal an incomprehensible degree of hatred and bias towards communities he was sworn to protect. Footnote 3. A pentagon. Mitchell says, it's a pentagon. Not a trifecta, a pentagon. Okay, that's good. I like it. A full house. It's a full house. It could be a full house, yeah. A quintfecta. You call it a monster. That's it. Kaylee says you call it a monster. Yeah. Quintet. You call it screwed. Quinfecta. You guys are good. The worst of the quintet. 5 equals a bull set, says Bittersweets. Or bullseye. A bullseye. A pentagram of damnation, says Pharaoh Autumn. Yahtzee. Yada, 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 Yahtzee. YACHTZEE. Well done, Gene. He's the real deal. You call it unemployed forever. Thanks, Kelly. Checkmate. We knew it was bad, right? We always knew it was bad. I think that many of us are shocked to see how bad it really, really is. Like an equal opportunity bigot. Footnote 3. Proctor shared his opinions and inappropriate comments with high school friends, at least one member of the Canton PD, right? Good. His MSP supervisors and other public servants. It is essential to know who else received, responded, or otherwise condoned these messages. Proctor's communications with the MSP, DA's office, and possible communications with other witnesses against him, including members of the Albert and McCabe families, to the extent they exist, are discoverable and relevant to Carney. Right. In addition to the repulsive content, Proctor's communications disturbingly reveal the ease and comfort in which he matter-of-factly and proudly shares his raging prejudice with others. A small sample of the dozens of wildly inappropriate messages released by Reed and King follow. See generally Exhibit A. So these exhibits, I believe, have been impounded or sealed, so we can't see them. But we did see some in Rosemary Scapicchio's because she's unleashing it on the world. She's like, I'm not protecting Proctor. Why is anyone protecting Proctor? And she said to the judge, Judge, why is anybody protecting Proctor? And the judge ruled in her favor, and everything was unsealed in her case. Proctor believes that Black people are subhuman property whose only value is to serve him. He repeatedly dehumanizes a Black person as it. He deems it acceptable for white supremacists like himself to arbitrarily kill Black people at will. At least twice, while an active duty MSP trooper, Proctor openly endorsed the murder of innocent N-words. On another occasion, he encouraged another law enforcement officer not to respond to a motor vehicle accident because the victim was an N-word and it was better to let them die. In one revolting message he sent to his group of like-minded bigots, Mark has such a way with words, doesn't he? Proctor expressed his plan on tying up an N-word and dragging him from my bumper through the streets of Randolph. Footnote 4, which reads, this vile message assuredly was a reference to the sickening murder of James Byrd, a Black man who was chained to a vehicle by white supremacists and dragged for 3 miles in Jasper, Texas in 1998. Well, I will say this, Mark, because I remember he workshopped this with me when he was on my show. And we were talking about it because that was the day the text messages came out. And he said, there was a case just like that. I forget the guy's name. I think it was in Texas. And he was workshopping it with the chat. And you guys were chiming in. And I will tell you that it was also mentioned in To Kill a Mockingbird. It is something that the racist POS, who was the real perpetrator in To Kill a Mockingbird, his name is Yule, Mr. Yule, said in To Kill a Mockingbird, I want to tie him to my bumper and skin him alive. Randolph, a town in Norfolk County that Proctor unfortunately knew all too well. Well, there's a Taylor Swift lyric in there somewhere. Was, according to Proctor, a complete shithole filled with N-words, no good N-words. In another message, Proctor reasoned to his fellow white supremacist friends that if you see an N-word, just kill it. Just kill it. Proctor embraced the random assault of Black people in Canton, another town in Norfolk County. He advocated for Punch an N-word Day in Canton today at a retribution. Any shine you see blasted in the face. Proctor's racism is so extreme that he fantasized about being a member of the Ku Klux Klan, expressing to his friend Cookie his wish to get horses, white sheets, and burn a cross in the Arboretum. In addition to being an extreme racist, Proctor appears to be a neo-Nazi. Oh, it just keeps getting better and better. In one repulsive anti-Semitic rant, he expressed to fellow disgraced former Canton PD Sergeant Sean Good his disappointment in America, which sucked because our nation's defeat of Nazi Germany ruined Adolf Hitler's plan. I got to start over. This needs all the feeling that it's entitled to. In one repulsive anti-Semitic rant, he expressed to fellow disgraced former Canton PD Sergeant Sean Good his disappointment in America, which sucked because our nation's defeat of Nazi Germany ruined Adolf Hitler's plans to exterminate Jewish people. Footnote 5, after the name Sean Good, reads, for his part, Good opined to Proctor that Anne Frank was a lying C-word. Good referred to New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, a well-known supporter of Israel, and bringing awareness to ending anti-Semitic hatred as a terrible, C-wordy Jew. I have so many questions about this man. How was he raised? How was he raised? Who hurt him? What happened to him in his life that made him such a hateful person? Did he hide it? He certainly didn't hide it to his friends and coworkers and fellow troopers. Did he hide it to his family, or are they all the same way? Like, it's no big deal to talk like this. 2026, but this stuff goes back to, I don't know, his phone extraction goes back to 2013. So he's a long-term racist, equal opportunity bigot. You have a picture of Robert E. Lee over the fireplace when he was growing up? I know people who did, by the way. South of the Mason-Dixon line. There's still people that, still, it's pervasive everywhere, but I have questions. Yeah, I'm really asking this question in 2026. I absolutely 100% am, Lori. This is outrageous, and it's exposing what people don't want to talk about because this is still going on. In Proctor's world, a genocidal lunatic who is probably the most reviled person in modern world history was an admirable man who was really onto something, in quotes. While discussing Jewish people from Sharon, also located in Norfolk County, Proctor expressed his idea that we really should keep them in a concentration camp. According to Proctor, there are too many Jews in Sharon. I have friends who grew up in Sharon, by the way. Not Jewish. The context of Proctor's support for Hitler and Nazi ideology cannot be ignored. According to a 2016 study, Norfolk and Plymouth counties are home to approximately 57,000 Jewish people. Footnote 6. Oh, and there's a Brandeis population estimate hyperlink. Joyfully thrifted. Says, I watched all the episodes of I Will Find You this weekend. So good on replay. My girls love thrifting like it's their job. I mean, they know where all the best places are. They know when the stuff gets put out. And I love that. I love that because clothing is one of the biggest contributor to landfills, right? Thrifting is good for the environment. My kids are thrifters and they love it. They find some really cool vintage stuff. I wish I had the patience for that. I just don't. It is chilling to ponder that Proctor, a sworn law enforcement officer assigned to the Norfolk DA's office and obligated to protect and serve a county with a large Jewish population, effusively praised a man whose goal was the systemic extermination of innocent Jewish people. Like his racism and anti-Semitism, Proctor's misogyny also knows no limit. He repugnantly outlined for Good and others his failed efforts to anally grape his then girlfriend. He discussed his efforts to engage in non-consensual sexy type activity by trying to violate a sleeping woman and trying to ply her with alcohol to the point she was hammered. As a police officer who investigated sexual assaults, he even discussed the possibility of using a roofie or something to further his goal of essaying women. According to Proctor, his inability to grape his own girlfriend was starting to piss me off. It's not cool. See Exhibit A. Proctor's depraved and misogynist communications suggest that he may have perjured himself at Ms. Reed's trial, where he denied looking for naked photos of Reed. He claimed he was joking when he texted his colleagues and friends that his search of Reed's phone revealed no nudes so far. Unknown to Reed's defense at that time, Proctor and Good discussed sharing nude photos of women. On one occasion, after Proctor informed Good that a woman had sent him nude photos, Good asked Proctor to send them to him. Good assured Proctor that if he had such photos, he would send them to Proctor because we're family here. Was Proctor married during the time those text messages were? I mean, it only goes back to 2013. I don't know when he got married, but he's got kids. I mean, I don't know. Were they on a break? When some woman was sending Proctor nudes, was he married at the time? I have so many questions. I mean, listen, I'm not that like fidelity would be a thing for him either, right? I mean, he's willing to talk like this, potentially plant evidence, frame an innocent woman for a car accident that didn't even happen. Do you think fidelity is on his list of things to do? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the man. How many people are still standing with Proctor? Anyone? Is there anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Among the other communities of people Proctor is prejudiced against are Asians, Arabs, Hispanics, Brazilians, and gay people. It is bad enough that Proctor is an angry and intolerant bigot who regularly fantasized about randomly murdering and assaulting innocent Black people, the extermination of Jewish people, and sexually assaulting women incapable of giving consent. But Proctor was far more dangerous than a garden variety bigot. For more than a decade, he was a bigot with a state-issued firearm and shield who was supported without reservation by and afforded unfettered access to the full power, authority, and resources of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Norfolk County DA's office, and the MSP. Wow. I mean, that is a paragraph right there. Hashtag truth. Most importantly, Proctor's messages reveal that his arrogance and offensive views influenced his professional judgment as a sworn law officer. Examples of such bias include A. Proctor discussed planting coke on people. B. Proctor told Good to take your time responding to a multi-car accident in Canton because a N-word was involved, so I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die. During an encounter with a Black person, this is C. During an encounter with a Black person he pulled over, Proctor texted others, bragging and laughing that he just got some nignog pulled over who is unlicensed and debating arresting or giving him a summons. I'm sorry if I wasn't supposed to say that word, but that phrase, let's see. Footnote 7 is going to tell us what it is. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a nignog is British slang designed to be a derogatory term for a Black person. I don't know what's more shocking, that he knows any British slang or that he just says it so openly. Debating arresting him or giving him a summons. D. Proctor told Pendy that although he hasn't shot anyone today, he did pull an N-word over today for tossing a cigarette out the window. So they do actually arrest people for littering. Oh, so was that a littering charge, Proctor? Was it a littering charge? Did it get as far as Richie Schiffer's littering charges did? I agree with you. Master Shenanigans, thanks for your 10. Says if Walsh got a copy of Proctor's text, Aiden's team certainly should. They know there's stuff about him in there. It should all be turned over. Right. And they have not been able to unseal some of it. Again, why are they protecting Proctor? Yeah, he's a classy racist using British slang. Thanks, Mitchell. Proctor's messages revealed his personal animus toward Reed. His strong personal bias against Reed played a key role in Reed's acquittal for the murder of John O'Keefe. In Reed's case, without the benefit of the messages now in her possession, including one where Proctor literally discussed planting evidence with Good, the defense persuasively argued that Proctor was corrupt, biased, and likely participated in the planting of broken taillight policies. Should say pieces, I think. Broken taillight pieces at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. Well, you know who told us that? You know who told us he put his pen down He put his pen down after the first witness took the stand in trial number 2, and he said, oh, I see. So this is how it's going to go. There he is, Charlie DeLoach. Up in that corner of your screen. Maybe it's right above me. Charlie DeLoach, foreman of the jury. Sometimes we need him for common sense purposes. Let's see how you're doing over here in the chat. How are you hanging in there? Very curious. Just starting the stream. Missed you this week. Oh, I missed you too. Thank you for your 5. I'm the problem. It's me. There's a Taylor Swift song. With Proctor talking about himself in the second person is a bit telltale of a schizophrenia. Oh, thank you for your 5. Indy Cindy says, beautiful full strawberry moon in the southeast sky. Oh, is it full moon tonight? Oh, no wonder. No wonder. I'll go check it out when I'm done here. Thank you, Cindy. Pierre says, agreed, kids first. You don't get the time back. Oh, thanks for being here for 30 months, Pierre. Laura says, they silenced Turtleboy with impoundment. Chaka, please. Oh, okay. Motion granted. Well, Charlie served his purpose, and now we have Chaka from Land of the Lost. Because we feel like we're in the Land of the Lost much of the time. Thank you, Laura. Your dad's favorite mom said, when Rosemary said, that's a great name. Your dad's favorite mom. When Rosemary said it, they were talking like it's please pass the butter. Yeah, exactly. She was right. There should be a Rosemary was right t-shirt too. Thank you, Pauline, for gifting 5 memberships. You're awesome. Rose said, can you cover the bricks and minifigure scandal? I know a lot of people are covering it. I don't even know what it's about. It has to do with Legos. Or then they tell me that Legos is not the plural. It's just Lego. I don't know what it's about, and I just don't know if I have the time to. I guess somebody could bullet point it for me. I needed an assistant, and I refuse to use AI to do anything for me. I need to investigate it myself to be able to cover it, and I just can't promise you right now because there's just so much other stuff going on. We've got trials coming up. Sarah Grace Patrick's trials coming up in August. Lindsay Clancy's trials coming up in July. I just don't know. I just don't know if enough people are interested in it to make it worth all of the extra work that it would go into it. But you guys can let me know if you would like to cover it. Thanks, Rose. Pentagram of Damnation, said Pharaoh. Kavya said, I think the 2016 messages with 30 men are about Hillary Clinton. Oh, okay. Surviving the news. Oh, there you are. Oh, there you are, Loopy. Thanks for coming in with your $1.99 super chat, asshole. Oh, you want to clip that to use it on your content? The way you always use my content without my permission or consent. And then it's passively aggressively like you're pretending that you like me. We see you. We know exactly what you're doing. You've said it a million times. You've outed yourself a million times because you've said exactly this on streams, that if people live with 0% blacks and their daughters won't date black, that means that they're a racist. I mean, you're outing yourself. So congratulations on sending a whopping $2 to try and rage bait me into giving you more content for your channel. It's not going to work. Right. You guys know. I mean, you can just tell by this is exactly everything that he said to Samantha on that stream when he used the N-word on her show. Hold on a second. Massive Shenanigans said if Walsh got a copy of Proctor's text, Aiden's team certainly should. They know there's stuff about him in there. It should all be turned over. I agree. I think I read that one earlier. 9 months has flown by, Michelle. My bell. I love you so much. And D. Oki says, yes. Why are they protecting him? Why are they protecting him? Why are they protecting him? Oh, he was also talking passive aggressively talking about me on Canton Chronicle the other night. Says I love sarcasm. What did I ever do to that guy? Like, what did I ever do to that guy? Ever. It's like people just need drama to survive. It's insane. Insane. I don't know why they're protecting him. I don't know. They must be protecting him because he's protecting other people that are more important than him, right? Or than he is. That's what I think. I don't know. Next section is entitled Proctor's Actual Bias Against Carney. Like his comments smearing me, Reed. Like his comments smearing Reed. The few messages of Proctor that the defense has seen demonstrate Proctor's actual bias against Carney. In a July 13th of 2023 email titled Turtleboy to Adam Lally, ADA Adam Lally and his MSP supervisors 3 months before Carney's arrest, Proctor referred to Carney as blank. You see, we're not even allowed to know what that says, but it goes to footnote 8, which reads, and here's what we were talking about before. Due to the existence of long-standing, I don't think they're protecting the MSP. I don't think they're protecting the MSP, Quinn. I think they are protecting the people who are more powerful. That's what I think. I don't know. You think it's like systemically the MSP? Maybe, but I think more so than that, there's people not inside the MSP that have, I don't know, long-standing secrets and things, that they know about people that they could ruin them with. And that's the only explanation that I can come up with. Losers focus on winners. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Yeah, and there he is again. DoorDash Joe. That's exactly the other same thing that he said in Samantha's stream. Like, stop outing yourself, dude. Like, are you really like not even that smart? You don't even deserve anybody's time or anybody's attention. You're a loser. You're a loser, guy. You're a loser. Hold on. You're a loser. And you're not funny. Right. So this guy thinks that what you're supposed to do is that if you are not racist, then you would say the N-word. You would not say N-word. You would say it out loud because said no black people ever. So if you don't say the word, that means you really are a racist. That's what he said many, many times on many different channels. So there you go. There you go. Congratulations for outing yourself again. Don't come into my stream and disrupt my show because you're just an asshole. Because now everyone knows it's you. But you thought you were so cute and funny. Scott, you got that? Yeah, I know. All right, let's keep going. Due to the existence, this is footnote 8, and this is why these things are redacted about what they said about Aiden. Due to the existence of long-standing protective orders in this case, we have redacted certain portions of Proctor's messages. Now that Proctor's disgusting character has been laid bare by Reed's and King's public filings after Judge Doolin unsealed various documents, there's no reasonable basis to protect Proctor and or deny public access to matters of great public concern involving possible corruption and investigative bias. Given what the public already knows about Proctor, there is little risk that release of the redacted messages will unduly prejudice him or the Commonwealth. A separate motion on that issue will be filed shortly. Good. Everything should be unsealed. Why are we protecting Proctor? We want to know every single thing that Proctor said about Aiden Carney because it goes to his bias and it goes to their selective persecution and it goes to everything that they're doing to everyone in this town who's not one of them. Actually, Scott, let the chat go off about him if they want to. I don't care anymore. I'm not protecting him. I'm not protecting him. If he wants to come into my chat and disrupt my chat by saying things about me and paying it. Listen, I'm sorry your YouTube channel's not doing better, that you can't afford more than $1.99 super chat to have your asinine comments read. That's really unfortunate for you. Really unfortunate for you. Proctor was so upset. Proctor was upset that Carney had referenced himself and his family. He complained that blank. I want to know what he said. Oh, wait a second. Hold, please. Well, let's finish this paragraph. On September 3rd, 2023, in a group text chain with DA Michael Morrissey and his MSP superiors, Proctor complained that they were blank to stop Carney. Oh, Michael Morrissey was in on that too, you say? Oh, interesting. Disparaging Carney as blank, he again complained that Carney was discussing himself and his family. Oh, Proctor was complaining about Carney talking about him, right? He's talking about me, saying mean things about me. Why don't we just arrest him already? They had to get him on something, right? Proctor urged DA Marcy and his MSP superiors blank, implying that the details to justify this drastic action could be filled in later, right? Why can't we just arrest him? Why can't we just arrest him? Why can't we just arrest him? We'll figure it out later. Let's just arrest him. Clearly bent on silencing Carney because of his personal frustration with him, Proctor stated that blank. We can't know. This message is another example of Proctor's official actions being influenced by his personal bias and animus against a specific individual. On January 28th of 2025, Proctor texted Sergeant Buchanan that he had reviewed blank live show. I don't know, you think that says Turtleboy live show? That criticized Proctor and his family. Proctor and Sergeant Buchanan discussed, and then there's a whole bunch of redactions all the way to the end of 2 more lines. Exhibit A. The above described messages reveal that those investigating Carney, including Proctor, were so personally biased against him that they gleefully fantasized about the joy they would feel if Carney were incarcerated after a conviction. Wow. They're fantasizing about the joy they would feel if Carney were incarcerated after a conviction. I mean, could it be any more clear that he was set up just because they didn't like him, because he was saying mean things about them that in all likelihood are going to turn out to be true? In every message the defense has been provided in which Proctor is discussing the Carney investigation, Proctor uses disparaging or vulgar language to describe Carney. I mean, they're entitled to all this stuff. They should get it. Everybody else is getting it except for them. Turtleboy's right. Everyone's saying in the chat. But this reminds me of something that I saved for you. So hang on for 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Because I think somebody found it, like these screenshots. Here it is. Okay. I don't know who this is. There you go. And it looks like some of them, this person was like tweeting back to Howie Carr. Oh, Stephanie, thank you so much for your Venmo. Oh, you saw Andrew, your mom took you to see Annie twice on Broadway with Andrew McArdle? Oh, I love it. I love it. Buy all the tickets. Buy all the tickets. Thank you. Yeah, only $1.99. All right, take a look at this. Take this down for 1 second. We are up to the second. We are up to the next section, which is Proctor's credibility is relevant to Carney's defense. Let's take that. Somebody published these text messages. And they purport to be Proctor's, like a screenshot of Proctor's. Hold on a second. Here this is Mike. Tuesday, January 28th. This is an iMessage, and this is from somebody texting Mike, which purports to be Michael Proctor. And Mike sends a screenshot of Aiden Carney tweeting about him that says, "Hey, Mikey boy, I know you cry and demand I be arrested every time I post about your stupid family members. So you might want to tell your," I can't read that, "pig mom to shut her big fat pig mouth on social media. It's bad enough she failed so miserably as a mother and raised 2 horrible children." And he said, "Just another one for the files." I don't know who he's texting, though. Oh, these are Buchanan's. Okay, thank you. So this is Yuri on the right and Proctor on the left. Yuri says, "Got it. Is that really your mom?" And then he says, "Yes." So his mother apparently responded to something in the Karen Reed trial, not FKR. Karen something Barsamian Proctor said, "Cashing in on John's death. I don't care about, you don't care about justice for John." He says, "Just another one for the files." Yuri says, "Got it." If that's Yuri. "Is that really your mom?" He says, "Yes." "Okay, it's saved." And then Yuri says, "It will be even better than what we can imagine." And Mike Proctor says, "I hope so." And then Yuri says, "Keep faith, Mike. It will all be made right." "Hey, brother, what time tomorrow? And is Elizabeth coming?" This is Sunday at 12:46. "I'm asking because I'm on a day off and need to check with Chris how that works with a day off, etc." I don't know who Chris is. He says, "Yo, yeah, Elizabeth is coming tomorrow, same time, 10, and we will print her there around 9:15, 9:30. Okay, got it. Thank you." And with a thumbs up. And then that same night, 6:03 p.m., he says, "You guys make it home?" Proctor says, "All good, buddy. Making the boys dinner right now. Thanks for being there." And then here's more. Oh, here it is, unredacted. Proctor says, "Someone just," and this is Tuesday, January 28th, "someone just sent A-Hole's live show tonight. He went off on me, Elizabeth, and my mother. Not sure if that will help in any way. Calls my mother and Elizabeth both C words." Yuri says, "I'll archive it tomorrow unless you have the clips already, unless you have the clip already edited." Proctor says, "I don't have it, but could probably get it." Yuri says, "That sick idiot will have the worst karma come his way for doing all this. Don't worry yourself with it. I'll get it tomorrow, brother." Proctor says, "He deserves it, but I've lost all faith that karma will get these people. Thank you." Oh, these people. Who else is he referring to besides Aiden? Who else were they trying to get? Proctor says, "Thank you." And then Yuri says, "It will be even better than what we can imagine." And then Proctor says, "I hope so." I mean, there it is, unredacted. I don't know how this person got it, but it's out there in the world. Fantasizing. What other people? First of all, you're Proctor talking about karma. It was not on my bingo card. Right? Karma knows your address. Just saying. Okay, back to the end of this motion. Lowlife is putting it mildly. Proctor's credibility is relevant to Carney's defense. Given the volume of messages which reveal Proctor's prejudice, his bias against certain individuals, including Reed and Carney, and the impact that his general and actual biases have had on his official duties, it is reasonable to conclude that some of the thousands of unreleased Proctor messages in the people's possession, custody, or control tend to favor Carney in that they support his claim that the investigation against him was biased, flawed, and in bad faith, and in part motivated and influenced by Proctor's bias against Carney. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me, and we don't even have that much stuff yet. Carney's defense will include the argument that the investigation and prosecution was conducted in bad faith by the MSP and others for the purpose of silencing Carney's ongoing criticism of the Reed case. A large component of Carney's criticism of the Reed case centered on his opinion and reporting on Proctor's alleged corruption and conflicts of interest. As described above, Proctor's personal bias against Carney resulted directly from Carney's criticism of him. Well, all of the people that are suing Aidan Carney for defamation might want to blame Proctor too. That his bias might have colored the way that he investigated the Carney matters. He might have a very good civil lawsuit because he actually, unlike Karen Reed, he actually spent 60 days in jail, away from his children, away from his mother, who was dying of cancer at the time. Right? I'm sure he will. I'm sure he's being well advised by his counsel. Carrie B says Yuri's phone should be fair game now. Yeah, because that's the thing too, right? Yuri's being sued by Karen. But if he took over as lead investigator, as he said he did, he said he was the lead investigator. Michael Proctor wasn't. He was. That should make it fair game. What don't you think? Mark says that Bettero is the Mark Twain of lawyer writings. Carney's defense will include the argument that the investigation and prosecution was conducted in bad faith by the MSP and others for the purpose of silencing Carney's ongoing criticism of the Reed case. 100%. 100%. They wanted to shut him up. What he was saying was dangerous to them, and they wanted to shut him up so badly that they bumped him and put him in jail for 60 days in a violation of his bail conditions. That whole Lindsay Gattani thing and that fake subpoena, all of it. It's all about the First Amendment, folks. It's all about the first. Whether you like Aidan Carney or not, he's got the right to say the things that he said. Okay? Hurt feelings are a place for civil court, not criminal court. And they are suing him for defamation. Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Colin Albert. Interesting, though, that Chris Albert didn't sue, considering that he's the one who actually might have lost, some sort of income from the pizza place. It doesn't happen. This doesn't happen in the real world. It's every time I read about it, it is more mind-boggling than the next. And the pieces are all falling together, and some people are gonna, you can see why people are not happy that all this stuff is coming out now. You can see, right? Nobody's brainwashing you, are they? You're being brainwashed. That's right. Amy says, and how did all of this start? One girl, Karen Reed, pulled one rogue tiny thread and the whole effing poncho came unraveled. Right. Remember, if she takes a plea, it's over. If not, it's a whole other episode. We're in season 3. Season 4 is when some other people get some new silver bracelets. And this could be going on for 10, 15 years with all the fallout from all of the cases that Proctor has ever touched. That now the entire public defender bar of Massachusetts wants to know every single case that Proctor has ever been involved in, and they want it either reopened, reinvestigated, or every single defendant and or prisoner to be notified. And they're entitled to it. A large component of Carney's criticism of the Reed case centered on his opinion and reporting on Proctor's alleged corruption and conflicts of interest. As described above, Proctor's personal bias against Carney resulted directly from Carney's criticism of him. Carney intends to call Proctor as a defense witness at trial to support his defense. Oh, that'll be interesting. Will he be available? As part of this examination, the defense intends to prove that Carney believed Proctor was corrupt, that he sought to notify the public about Proctor's corruption, and that as a result, Proctor arbitrarily sought Carney's prosecution to do something to silence Carney's criticism of himself and others. Do something. Why can't you just do something? Evidence in the Commonwealth's possession, custody, or control that tends to support Carney's claim that Proctor was corrupt, or evidence which otherwise undermines his credibility, such as proof of Proctor's bias against investigative targets, and Carney specifically, is favorable to Carney's defense and must be disclosed. Irrespective of the ultimate admissibility of such evidence, the Commonwealth is obligated to disclose evidence in their possession, custody, or control which A, tends to undermine Proctor's credibility, and B, supports the defense's claim that the investigation was conducted in bad faith or lacked integrity. Well, we see what happened with James Sullivan and how his information was never turned over to Karen Reed's defense team, even though Adam Lally, Laura McLaughlin, and Brian Tully were all in the room when James Sullivan said, "I never said Karen Reed was toasted." They just didn't call him as a witness. Do I need to point out again how prosecutors are under an affirmative obligation to disclose exculpatory evidence and evidence that may have been tampered with? Did anybody see what recently just happened in Colorado, like last week, with the DNA? The person who worked in the DNA lab in Colorado? I'll see if we can talk about that after this. People think that DNA is not tampered with. Could have never happened in the Edric Foss case. There's a woman in Colorado who worked at a DNA lab who was falsifying records for years and test results for years. She's being prosecuted in Colorado. Are people really that naive that they think that this shit doesn't go on every single day, everywhere? Evidence that may support claim that investigation lacked integrity or was conducted in bad faith is favorable and must be disclosed to the defense, right? Well, they didn't do it in Karen Reed's case either. The communications or items from Proctor's cell phone are discoverable under numerous provisions of Rule 14. Prosecution must disclose any relevant written or recorded statements of a person who has testified before a grand jury. Footnote 9, which reads, Mr. Proctor's text messages and emails constitute a written statement, which includes any writing made, signed, or adopted by a person with percipient knowledge of relevant facts. Proctor's communications and other items on his cell phone are discoverable under Rule 14 B2B because they help establish a defense theory and that they support the defense position that the MSP investigation was biased, conflicted, and conducted in bad faith. Proctor's communications are discoverable under Rule 14 because they constitute items or information that tend to establish deficiencies or lapses in the investigation of the case. At a minimum, the Commonwealth should be directed to provide the full extraction of Proctor's phone to the court for an in-camera review so that the court may determine which messages should be disclosed to the defense. That's at a minimum. I think they should just get it all. Just like Judge Doolin ordered in the Miles King case. He didn't cherry pick. He said, you're entitled to the whole thing. Take it. Whether stuff is relevant at trial is a question for the trial judge, but they're entitled to it in discovery and they should get it. Wherefore, the court should issue an order compelling the Commonwealth to disclose to the defense Proctor's communications and other items recently extracted from his cell phone in its possession, custody, and control, which tend to favor the defense under Brady, Giglio, and Kyle's, and or which are discoverable under Rule 14. XOXO. Mark Petero. June 18th, 2026. Talk to me. Talk to me about the Alec Murdaugh hearing tomorrow. I didn't have it in my calendar. What time is it? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Is this with the new judge? I'll have to look it up. Are there any other hearings tomorrow? Because I don't have anything on any hearings on my calendar for tomorrow. Thank you, Creating Through Chaos. An in-camera review is something where the judge looks at it by himself. The judge will look at it and he will determine whether or not they should get it. In camera. Judge only. Back to the chat. Devin, thank you for the TLDR on minifigs. Lego co-signed, franchise owner change, Lego all missing, CEO shows up with U-Haul, new owner has Mormon police arrest investigators. What part of that is interesting? I mean, no shade, but like what part of it is interesting? I don't know. I'm not a Lego person, so maybe I think there's other creators who like Legos a lot. Maybe they will cover that better. I don't know. I don't know if I can get into it. Rhonda says the troll has no life outside of mom's basement. I know. If you do choose to wait on the cesspool of Twitter, if they start coming for me tonight, like personally, you know that they're just that what I have to say is very effective. You just know, right? You're smart. You're smart. You're smart, right? Thank you, L Rider Girl Cowed. LL is right. And then I don't even know what that means. Maybe you're another one of his sock account. You're another one of his sock accounts. Congratulations for your $1.99 super chat. And there's another one. How many sock accounts does this guy have? I mean, I've heard it's a ton, but I didn't realize it was this many. Carrie says it's an honor to be a cupcake. Thanks for being here for 8 months. Fast Finance with Jennifer says, sending love to you and your daughter and your wonderful trip. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and bright light with us all. Thank you so much for tuning in from Canada. Oh, here, and look, I mean, really, you've already spent how much? How much have you spent already today? $10? You sent me like $10 in super chats. It's not even good for it's not even enough for like a half of a decent bottle of wine. You loser. Tortoise Interference, thank you for your 10. Thank you for your 10. We have to preserve the First Amendment for people we disagree with because someone out there will disagree with each of us. Let's bring civics back to the curriculum. Yeah. JP says there's enough people covering the bricks and minifix case. You don't need to prioritize it, but keep it on the board. I should have a big whiteboard over here somewhere. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this one for tonight? Because now, even though I said I don't get jet lag, now it is kind of starting to catch up with me. There's a lot of Lego streams, says Mitchell. Spam just is so boring. You tried to listen to it, but it's boring. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I can get into it. Oh, he has 227 sock accounts. That's probably true. That's true. I mean, right. It's really. Scott says, last I heard it was under 100 now that they're being blocked here. Yeah. So he says, brother counsel's brother is reportedly involved civil rights violations for false arrest related to the Lego situation. That's the extent of his interesting. Well, then let him cover it, right? Let brother counsel cover it. If it's brother counsel's brother. I don't. You know me. You know me. You know that I only cover cases that I'm really passionate about, and that if I'm not passionate about it, I just can't get into it, and I won't do it justice. Let somebody do it justice. And by the way, what you should do tonight or at some other point is go watch the interview with Lucky Loughran that Canton Chronicle did tonight, because that was happening earlier this evening. I don't know who Blaze Taylor is. Namaste. Namaste. Can you please cover the Blaze Taylor trial? I might be the only person in Feb world that is suspicious of the female and male friends and not the baby dad, Blaze. I don't know who that is. Blaze Taylor. All right, I'll write it down. I see. You wrote it twice. You wrote it twice. I got it. You don't have to like Legos to be interested. I don't know. I mean, what is it? What I don't even understand. Like somebody sold somebody's Legos, and now it's like it sounds like a civil case. Is it a civil case? Is it a criminal case? I don't know. Blaze Taylor trial is already a weekend. Oh, forget it then. No, I can't do that. I can't step in right now. I was surprised that the guy on the boat got was acquitted. Pino was acquitted. Did anybody look into it? There's more to it than Legos. Okay. But a lot of people are covering it, right? Yeah, I can't jump into a trial halfway through. I can't do it. Civil and criminal? Yeah, it sounds like I have enough on my plate right now. That's what it sounds like to me. I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of channels who can cover like a million different things. And then they like do like a little show about like a million different things. But I feel like if I'm going to do something, I got to be all in with it, you know? That's what I think. Oh. Angel says the interesting part of the Lego case is the way it is like Proctor, police corruption. I just learned about the Murdoch hearing tomorrow. What time? Miss Priss said he should have been acquitted. The jury got the Pino verdict right. I didn't follow it at all, except for I saw that he was hysterically crying in the opening and stuff, and it seemed like a tragic accident to me, but I don't know. Mackenzie Shirilla just can't seem to get out of the news either. I saw there was a lot of coverage on that I was watching on the airplane, including I think Vinny Politan doing it. Now he's doing a show called Vinny After Dark. Go figure. Thank you, Magnolia Gypsy says, I love that you cover what you care passionately about. Thank you, Sherilyn, for your Cash App. I appreciate you. Let me see if I can find that stuff on the Colorado case. But for some reason, I don't know why my notes app isn't coming up. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, she took a plea. The Colorado DNA expert or the lab worker took a plea, and she had affected like hundreds of. I got to find it. I don't want to give you the wrong information. Hold on a second. Oh, please. All right, so this was 5 days ago. There was a former Colorado Bureau of Investigation DNA analyst. Her name is Yvonne Missy Woods. She pleaded guilty to 4 felonies for manipulating and omitting DNA data. She faces 8 to 16 years in prison at her sentencing hearing. Her misconduct affected over 1,000 criminal cases over 30 years. 1,000 criminal cases over 30 years. And she only pled guilty to 4 felonies. This scandal is going to be going on forever. Forever. In 2025, Missy Woods was charged with originally 102 felonies. including perjury, forgery, attempting to influence a public servant, and cybercrime. And then just on June 23rd, which was 5 days ago, she pleaded guilty to 4 felony counts of cybercrime, perjury, attempting to influence a public servant, and forgery as part of an agreement with prosecutors. I mean, that's wild. People say this can't. Hang on a second. It can happen. It happens. What was her motivation? Was she just lazy? That's what I need to know. Was she lazy? Was she incompetent? Which is it? Well, let's find out. I found a video. Let's watch the video because now I'm intrigued. People think it can't happen. It never happens. It doesn't happen. This kind of stuff doesn't. It happens. Here you go. Let's let her talk a little bit and let my voice rest. This is from give credit where credit is due. CBS, Colorado. Scobuffs.
A former DNA analyst accused of routinely mishandling evidence for nearly 20 years pleads guilty. Prosecutors agreed to drop nearly 100 other counts against Missy Woods after she pled guilty to 4 charges. Woods worked for the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and prosecutors say she manipulated data in countless criminal cases. The most recent known cost to retest evidence and review convictions is estimated at more than $11 million. But there's another cost to the victims of crime and maybe to people who were wrongfully convicted. Ellen Janae reports.
This is a guarantee of prison time for Woods. The CBI still maintains it has found no evidence that she falsified any DNA matches. But she intentionally left DNA samples out of tests or reports. Investigators allege that Woods did things like deleting findings of what are called specific values in more than 30 sexual assault cases. She was accused of submitting reports that said no male DNA was found when there was, in fact, male DNA or possible contamination.
Can you say Edric Faust, anyone?
Should have been retested. Ms. Woods, anything? Missy Woods coming out of court with nothing to say after a brief plea to reduce charges.
Count 1, cybercrime. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Yvonne Missy Woods ticked off 4 guilty pleas. The plea deal with the DA in Jefferson County where she was charged will mean a guaranteed prison sentence of between 8 and 16 years. Today, Ms. Woods accepted responsibility not only for individual acts of misconduct, but for the full scope of criminal conduct that spanned decades, said District Attorney Alexis King in a statement. The decades of damage, however, is far from being known.
Just the shakeup in the criminal justice system has got to be enormous here.
It's huge.
Judd Lonis is an attorney with the Corey Wise Innocence Project at CU Law.
Scientists do not delete their data, particularly if that scientist is going to be testifying in court.
The Innocence Project is looking at a list of cases in which Wood's work could be questioned.
I have at least 2 clients where Missy Woods did testing in their cases and they did not receive a notice from the district attorney because it got lost in the shuffle in CBI's review.
The CBI has taken it on the chin for Woods' improper work uncovered by an intern in 2023.
And it's affected your prosecution, right?
That is absolutely right. She cut corners, she deleted data, she falsified reports, and more than anything, Alan,
Look who it is. That's Michael Daugherty. He's the district attorney for Boulder, Colorado. Shout out, CU. And also, he worked with Mark Betterow at the Manhattan DA's office when we covered the King Soopers mass shooting trial, which was horrific. Michael Daugherty tried that case for the state of Colorado, and he is a really good trial lawyer, and he has a lot of integrity, and I like him a lot. Let me just go back a little bit.
3.
And it's affected your prosecution, right?
that is absolutely right. She cut corners, she deleted data, she falsified reports, and more than anything, Alan, She undercut the integrity of the justice system.
One of the highest profile cases yet to be affected was the conviction of Michael Clark for a murder in Boulder in the 1990s. DA Michael Dougherty vacated that conviction and intends to retry Clark, noting there were other problems with the case as well.
But there are other cases where the DNA evidence played a really important role, and the misconduct by Missy Woods had an incredibly damaging effect on our ability to do justice for the case, and it's caused us to revisit different cases and open old wounds for victims and their families. And that's true in offices around the metro area.
The CBI released a statement as well today. Its director called this a moment of accountability, saying this moment is not about moving on. For CBI, it's about moving forward. Missy Woods is scheduled to be sentenced just after Labor Day in September.
Not going to be a very happy holiday for her. Oh, man. Oh, my God. 1,000 more deaths in France as extreme heat shatters European records. That's insane. Shout out to the intern who wasn't afraid to uncover this whole scandal. It was uncovered by an intern. What do you think about that? Yeah, they vacated his conviction, but they may try him again. But I mean, it took a lot for him to vacate his conviction. Maybe there was other evidence too, in addition to the the doctored, proctored DNA evidence. The Innocence Project has job security for a long time to come. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, why did she do it? I don't know. It's a great question. Maybe that's why she took a plea deal. They forced her to take a plea deal so it wouldn't uncover all the rest of the corruption. Right. Stacey's like, well, I wonder what her bank account looks like. I know. I want to know why she did it too. Creating through chaos. I want to know the same thing. Oh my gosh. Charles Argo says 5 a.m. here and I'm still watching. Thanks for tuning in from South Africa. Sorry to keep you up so late. CC says, do you know what happened in the Edric Foss June 12th hearing? I love your show. They are trying to raise money to hire Brian Steele as his appellate attorney. I believe that Ahmad Cruz has withdrawn from the case because he's not an appellate lawyer. And I think the judge was mad about it, but there was no Zoom of it. There was no camera in the courtroom. I called the court because I wanted to cover it live. It didn't happen. So really nothing happened, as far as I know, unless anybody has any other information. Thank you for loving my show and for your 5. Attorney Wannabe says, I bought the tallow from your Amazon list. I just want you to know. I think of you every time I put it on, which sounds weirder than I intended. Thanks for giving me a daily reminder that you exist. Did you get the orange vanilla? Because it smells so good. It smells like a creamsicle. Do you like it? I really like it. Listen, for $30, it's made a huge difference in my skin. And I've used a lot of different products throughout the years. So I think it's good. I think it's good. Lucy says, I can't stop thinking about that lawyer that Melanie interviewed who said he couldn't put people in jail. I need more like that. Was it Tom Kokonowski? Was it Tom Kokonowski? I think so, right? I think he's the lawyer I had on most recently. I don't have guests very often, but when I do, they're good ones. They disregarded blood DNA and falsified the IgG. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Jilly. If you're talking about the Colorado woman, or if you're talking about, people were chattering about Koberger in here too, but I don't know. Oh, it was Tom Kokonowski. Jenny Lulu says, please hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. It was Tom. Still waiting for Tom's interview with Brian Camp. What else do we have? Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? It's getting late. It's way late for my friends across the pond. Anything else? We can look at Murdoch tomorrow, and then there's some other stuff. There is some other stuff, some other papers that we did not get a chance to go over today. There was a weird order. There was a weird order from the judge about things they have to submit by tomorrow. Let me see if I can find that. Do you know which one I'm talking about? And Karen Reed, it's the judge it was a weird order where the judge was like, show me proof of this, that, and the other thing. I just don't remember which case it was in. So I think it's in the, I can't think right now. I think it's in the wrongful death case. Sounds like. And the court said, show me proof of this, that, and the other thing by Monday to back up all the things that you're saying. It was a really weird order from Judge Gilday, right? All right, let me just find it because it was weird. I've never seen an order like this before. Yeah, because the judge told them to list facts only, improve their narrative. Yeah. No, you know what? No, Zoe, it's different. It's like, show me all of your evidence that proves this, that what you said. I mean, I know a bunch of you sent it to me. I just don't know who. Usually Tiff sends me everything. Let me just check. Prove buoying. Booyah. Let's see. I'll just look it up here. I thought it was weird. He's done with the shenanigans, but I've never really quite seen an order like that. I think, and was he taking it too personally? That was my other question. Was he taking it too personally? You can tell me what you think after I pull it up. It was an order about supplementing. I wanted her to supplement something. You think it was the Tully order? Okay, let me see. That narrows it down for me. Thank you. Yeah, but see, since we didn't go over the order, I want to go over the motion to quash. And since we're not doing that, it's not going to really make sense until we go over the motion, but I just wanted to point it out to you because I found it odd. And you probably have questions about it, which will be better served once we go over the motion papers, which we can do tomorrow. Because this is a chock full show. All right, so this dropped Friday. And this is again, the wrongful death case of O'Keefe versus C.F. McCarthy's Waterfall and Karen Reed. Order requesting information from defendant Reed relative to opposition to motion to quash filed by non-party Tully. Okay, so they noticed they sent a subpoena to Tully to appear for a deposition. We heard about this at the conference. Then I think they agreed to adjourn it to a different date. And then all of a sudden, the motion to quash was made on behalf of Tully by his attorneys in this wrongful death case. I don't know what Tully's argument yet is because I hadn't read the papers yet. But the court did. And the court said, on or before noon on Monday, which is tomorrow, June 29th, defendant Reed is requested to provide the factual basis for the following statements in her opposition. 1, and there's a quotation mark, buoyed by the treatment that other subpoenaed witnesses are getting by resisting their depositions. And 2, the manner in which other subpoenaed parties have been handled in this case. See, I want to go back and read Karen's papers. Now I have to, because now I fell into the rabbit hole. Do you think when Karen said that in her papers, or when her attorney said that in their papers, they were referring to the way the judge has handled them, or the way that the plaintiff's attorney is handling them? Meaning, like, we didn't get the documents from Colin Albert, so we agreed to adjourn the deposition until after he provided us with the documents. And then all of a sudden he's going to the Army, and the plaintiff's attorney decided to just take his deposition without us. That kind of thing. So I don't know if he's taking it too personally and he's assuming that they're talking about him, treating the other subpoenaed witnesses a certain way, because quite honestly, buoyed by the treatment that other subpoenaed witnesses are getting, but not necessarily by the judge, because there haven't been any motions to compel, right? The only motion to compel that was ruled on so far was Collins, and that might have crossed with this one. Because remember, in civil court, the motion to quash is made, and then it's opposed, and it doesn't get filed with the court until everything is in a package together. You see what I'm saying? So the decision on the Collin, the order on Collin came out the same day that this was issued, okay? Because I'm looking at it right now. It's in front of me. The order to compel Collin came out on the 26th. The judge is asking for this on the 26th. And so they're not referring to the way he's treating Collin because that order had not been issued yet. You see what I'm saying? So do you think he's being dramatic? I don't know. But we can look at those papers tomorrow if you'd like, because I want to know why Tully thinks he shouldn't have to appear, because that's very interesting to me. And all of the other Haas defendants have also said they can't possibly see coming to a deposition until like August, July. But then I think we have to look at the papers because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on it in the chat, as I can see. And he's saying, listen, stop giving me so much information. I don't want all this information. Just tell me the only things I need to know. Bullet point it for me. He doesn't want all of the extraneous stuff, right? Yeah, he's using their words against them. He's not happy. But I've never seen anything like this before. On or before noon on Monday, which is tomorrow, defendant Reed is requested to provide the factual basis for the following statements. I mean, they're totally being called out. Totally being called out by the judge. I've never seen this before. He's saying, I told you not to pander to the media. If you're going to pander to the media, now you're going to come in and you're going to tell me exactly, back these things up. Back them up. So it's going to be interesting to see what they filed tomorrow. It doesn't look good. It's not something that I've ever seen a judge do. It's wild. But he's calling them out. Mercury Star says it's not very conducive to be so intimidating toward lawyers. Pat says he's being temperamental and taking it personally, but I do think Karen Reed's attorney should just drop the arguments at this point. It is what it is. That's true. Master Shenanigans says he didn't understand why the photo of Collin at the wedding was relevant, and he didn't want the explanation about it. That's true. Yeah, but he wants the factual basis that other subpoenaed witnesses are getting special treatment. That's what he's looking for. He's not looking for like the factual basis for what Tully did. He's looking for the factual basis behind this. That other subpoenaed witnesses are getting special treatment by not showing up. And what is the factual basis for saying that other subpoenaed parties have been handled a certain way in this case? You see what I'm saying? They can't drop it. They have to take the depositions by the deadline. It is my professional opinion that deadline is going to be extended. There's no way. I don't think they're going to be able to get it all done by August 17th. And if they can, that would be an amazing feat. Vicky Andrews, welcome home, my friend. You've been this. I truly appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much. Was there a Vicky Andrews that wrote a series of books? Flowers in the Attic. Who wrote Flowers in the Attic? Maybe it was like VC Andrews or something like that. You just reminded me of that. Those are great books. Thank you so much for your 10. I appreciate you so much. And BB says, I'm getting a different vibe from Judge Gilday than I originally thought. I don't know. I think I don't know. He doesn't take the BS, I just think. Chadwick says, holy moly, that's all I have to say. Just holy moly. Is there footnotes on this one? Oh, yes. Yeah, but the footnotes are just adding the additional parties because they don't want to type out the whole caption, which is silly too. These foolish games. All right, I'm going to try and find out what time the Murdoch hearing is tomorrow. It was VC Andrews, right? Larry, the DUI lawyer, has the opposite opinion on Judge Gilday's order, the opposite of what I just said, which is what? That they're in trouble? I mean, it sounds to me like they're in trouble, like he wants an explanation for it. I'm asking you, if you've read the papers, because I haven't, if you think he's being hyperbolic or taking it too personally. I don't know. All right, so check in with me tomorrow in the morning, I guess, if we're going to go to the Low Country to cover some Alec Murdoch. Is probably going to be in the morning, right? If it's going to be live, because that's another thing. If it's not live, then we're screwed. And then we just have to cover it on delay. Yeah, Flowers in the Attic was so good. Yes, I don't know, Kayla, and I don't know the answer to this. She says, I'm a little behind, but I'm curious. Has anyone thought how this lady from Colorado might have handled any DNA in the Ramsey case, or whether she did? Let's see, when was that? Ramsey was 90s. I mean, if she's been there for almost 30 years, could be, right? I don't know that if that's been confirmed. That would suck. That would 100% suck. The case was bungled from jump. All right, please hit the like button. Do all the things that YouTube likes. Thank you to the moderators, because they really do the Lord's work out here. I could never, ever do it without them. Thank you, Mrs. Bouquet. Thank you. Oh man, you're still awake? I love it. I love it over there. I had a wonderful time over there on your side of the pond. Thanks for being over 26 months. And Ms. Jules from Florida, we love your research. She says, thank you. I love you guys. All right, I'm tired. The jet lag is hitting me. Hopefully we can cover Murdoch tomorrow. If we can't, we'll talk about something else. Got all this other stuff I got to get organized for you. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. And just know that if they're coming from me personally and you, that means that we're too effective and that they know that things are about to explode and they're freaking out. Okay? The music never stopped. I love you guys. Peace. See you tomorrow.